On December 27th, Moist Critical posted a speedrun challenge. Not just any speedrun challenge, but a $10,000 bounty for whoever has the world record in the game Amok Runner by January 10th. Now, you might be thinking, what the is Amok Runner? It's a great question. Apparently, it's a game based on a book, but there's no way that the game is doing a justice of the book because this game is dog. Charlie himself says that it is one of the worst games ever made.
Let's not smoke the piss here. Let's call it what it is. It's not the best game ever made.
And if you play it for 10 minutes, you will also probably have that feeling. However, he was inspired to do this challenge because he felt somewhere deep inside that it had speedrunning potential. I'm going to walk you through how Amok Runner became a completely broken game in the matter of 2 weeks. It has stories of heartbreak, Discord drama, and many, many hours of speedrunners hitting their heads against the wall until something clicks. This is how speedrunners completely break a game.
Lots and lots of testing.
Around this woman named Linda, who needs an abortion, and you're a doctor who can give her the abortion. However, you are a little bit of a sleazebag, and you ask Linda for some favors in return for the abortion, in which she does not oblige. She ends up going to Chinatown to get a botched abortion, which ends up killing her, which leaves you, the doctor, with much guilt. You ultimately get rid of Linda's body without anyone realizing, as well as commit suicide, as you cannot carry the pain of Linda's death. Definitely a different kind of story that you don't see in games nowadays. Now, before we go into the glitches and all the crazy stuff, because trust me, there is, we got to do just a quick walkthrough of the game. The game starts you in a boat and has you walk to a bench and tell this man your story. It is a fever dream of a game. Just listen to this first opening cutscene. This is the first dialogue you get in the game.
Excuse me. I think you wanted to sit alone because when you saw me, I had the feeling that you were a bit hesitant.
I know how absurd it is to tell this to the first person I've just met, but it's so hard.
I had the feeling.
I'm a doctor. This is the climax of my story. I must tell you everything from the very beginning.
This story is what most of the game is. It's you running around the town, going from point A to point B, sometimes in a car. You solve puzzles, at times you shoot enemies. It's a pretty simple game, and upon first inspection you would think that this game does not have that much to offer, but you would be oh so wrong. Now, the first steps to breaking a game for speedrunning is really just getting a feel for how it works and optimizing the things that are more obvious. The very first glitch was found by Charlie himself, appropriately named the Moist Skip. He found that on the beginning boat, you can clip yourself at these stairs and get up on top of the boat, which lets you get to where the game ultimately ends by pushing this casket into the water. However, there's no way to sequence break the game. Even though this game is complete ass, it still has a bunch of checkpoints and flag checking to ensure that it's not completely busted. However, runners did find that you could do this skip at the end of the run, and it saves about 4 seconds. However, it's extremely inconsistent. The next skip that would be practical and used in runs is called Dane Skip. Near the beginning of the run, upon trying to go to your house, this scary guy tries to kill you. He hits you in the back with an axe a bunch. You have to run into this cabin, hide out, and then leave. Runners learned that you could run into the cabin, run out, and clip through the door and go straight to your house, saving a good chunk of time. Then runners figured out that by just taking a different route to your house, you could entirely skip this encounter. And this was one of the first major things found in the game. In some areas of the run, just simply reloading your checkpoint saves you time. And in some cases, there's one in particular that saves 10 seconds, where as soon as you reach this house, you can reload the checkpoint and it puts you much closer to where you need to be. And thankfully, it doesn't really cost you any time because they're using in-game time for timing. Because they're using in-game timing for the runs, any time spent in loading screens does not lose you time. Faster routing would be found for the driving segments and polished over time, as well as for some running segments. They eventually found that during the scene where Linda dies, if you have music disabled, then you completely avoid this terrible, awful piano that plays for way too long. This extremely emotional, heartstring plucking thing is happening. Dracula is playing. By disabling music, it allows you to just reload a checkpoint much earlier during Linda's death cutscene. With different pathing in the graveyard, you can entirely avoid the trigger for the monster cutscene, saving around 5 seconds. By timing it just right, you can avoid holding your head during this headache cutscene by looking at the ship in the distance and then flipping it back, which saves just a couple seconds. However, another trick called Gray Skip, which was originally named Chinese Linda Skip because someone thought they found a way to speed up the Linda portion of Chinatown, but they were wrong. However, they found this other thing which prevents you from having a longer death scene when you finish an encounter with enemies and just named it Chinese Linda Skip. But then Gray Skip made more sense. Eventually, the holy spreadsheet would be born, which every runner would keep on a side monitor detailing how to optimize every puzzle in order to do them in as little steps as possible. Coders in the community even developed practice tools that allowed you to practice some of the puzzles and memories.
All of this in 2
It
weeks.
wouldn't stop there, however. Runners eventually figured out the exact values for enemies' health, how much damage your shots do depending on where they hit. It would take only one day for runners to create a save manual. This allowed you to load saves so that you could practice any portion of the run over and over again. And on that same day, only an hour later, a trainer was made which allowed you to now make save states. It allowed you to save your position, load your position. It allowed you to view your exact angle values, your positioning, so you could get extremely precise when practicing and trying to figure out skips. And without these tools, it's hard to say whether a lot of the things that I'm going to tell you about would have been found. Mind you, everything I've told you about has been found in the first 2 days. Now lastly, every good speedrun has a trick at the beginning. In Mario 64, you have Lakitu Skip. In Amok Runner, you have Linda Skip. For whatever reason, when you're caught in this room with Linda at the beginning, the door shuts automatically. It's very scary. And if you position yourself just right, and you go at just the right time, you can get through the door as it shuts, allowing you to walk through the house while Linda's talking to you, which saves about 8 seconds. Now you may be thinking to yourself, how do you time the Linda skip? You just gotta look at her feet. Yeah, you stare at her feet. And as soon as her feet cross each other, that's when you start holding up. And it works. Now I know what you might be thinking. Or maybe you're not even thinking, you're sleeping. Because you want to see some crazy shit. You want to see some Ocarina of Time wrong warp type stuff. You want to see some crazy backwards long jump, hyper speed wall kick type stuff. So let me show you the stuff that would shake the very foundation of a Muck Runner speedrun. Now, if you play through this game casually, which I don't know why the fuck you ever would, you would maybe not realize how bad the physics are. By getting out of a vehicle or a bike, runners discovered that in certain positions, you can get sent flying, or the car can get sent flying. Neither of the things I just showed you are used in runs, but they would lay the foundation for similar tricks that were actually useful for going fast. Many theories would come from this discovery, including ideas like being able to skip the crane puzzle, or being able to entirely skip the driving portion from this house to the mansion. However, when these things were discovered, none of these tricks would come to fruition in actual runs, as they were insanely inconsistent and basically felt unusable. The first real speedrun looking thing that would get used in runs was bike skip. Normally, after you talk with Linda, you get on your bike and you ride over to the train station to try and catch Linda. However, if you take this bike and you drive over by this river, by this nice man, and you position yourself just right, he will shove his large fishing rod right into you in just the right way to send you flying over to the train station, saving around 20 seconds if done well.
Nice.
Now this was a huge find because at this time runners were already getting the times down
God.
good. They were getting pretty tight to the point where a skip like this was something everyone wanted to start doing. And this trick was no joke. Distortion 2 was one of the first people I saw really messing around with it, and it took him many, many hours to get any kind of consistent setup. These are not lenient tricks whatsoever. You have to be in a very particular position to get launched. Eventually, this skip evolved to become known as cock skip, and you would, instead of using the fisherman by the river, you would use this man by all these chickens as the launcher. His cock would launch you. But another huge thing would come out of this skip. It would spark a major discovery regarding how Amok works in regards to FPS. And this is ultimately when the first big community decision happened, as people realized that FPS affected certain things in the game. This includes driving through fences, At a high enough FPS, you can drive straight through a fence with no care in the world. However, once you're at lower FPSs or around 60 FPS, it becomes basically RNG and can only be done consistently by opening the map as you break through the fence. It also affected launches. Higher FPS allowed you to launch further and faster. This was discovered because people were trying to copy Distortion 2's setup for the Fisherman launch, and they were not able to replicate it with any success. This ultimately pushed the community to advocate for a 60 FPS frame rate cap, so that runners who have better hardware or even different hardware didn't have any unfair advantages. Because it wasn't even necessarily having a better computer. Some people had worse computers than others, but they ran the game better. The mods at first didn't want to allow this. They didn't want any separate programs to mess with your frame rate, but ultimately the change was enacted and it made things a lot easier and also consistent across runners' different settings.
Yeah.
But this would not be the first time there was a big community decision or debate, even downright arguments in the Discord. But we'll get there. When it comes to speedrunning, discoveries are obviously always first before getting used in runs. So while these skips were getting polished and improved behind the scenes, runners had started to get seriously good runs together. World records would be handed off back and forth as players got a grasp on the game, quickly going from a 46 to low 30s, and ultimately by the time I got involved with the game, which was after about a week, people were pushing for a sub 28-minute run. Now here's where things got very interesting for some and very depressing for others. Zach777 got a 27:57 world record, which was insanely clean. It was extremely impressive considering the only major glitches it used were skip and Linda skip, amongst the other things that I had mentioned previously. And I believe that it was at this point that runners realized they had to start digging deeper and really start trying to figure out how to implement the two next big skips that would come to fruition. Crane skip, aka cone skip. This saves time by skipping the crane puzzle entirely, and mansion skip. Mansion skip essentially means skipping the entire drive from this house all the way to the mansion, which is on complete opposite sides of the map. It is the longest drive that you take in the game. Now, I remember this vividly being the Dark Ages. It was very hard to beat Zach's time. He had perfect fights, very clean movement, his skips were good, it was just a solid run. It seemed like it was almost untouchable. This was a filter for many runners, including myself. I had been playing Amok for a couple days, but when it came time to have to start figuring out mansion skip and the cone skip, it got very difficult, as these skips are extremely hard to do consistently, and they seem to almost be somewhat random when they work. The thing is, if you do a crane skip, then you basically have to do a mansion skip, because if you skip the crane, then you can't drive out of the area. You can do this other route where you go all the way around, and it's very slow, but it still ends up saving 10 to 20 seconds if done well, but doesn't seem quite worth it. If you were able to somehow hit a mansion skip and a crane skip, world record would be yours guaranteed. It doesn't matter how good Zach's world record was, you were going to beat it if you got those skips. The first prototype of skipping from this house to the mansion was something called log launch. This didn't have much consistency, but it did prove the theory that one could do a crane skip and then afterwards do a mansion skip. It's also one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen in a game. This launch sends you at such a high speed that you literally enter another dimension. I'm not kidding. Your field of view completely flips itself in the air and then unflips itself during the launch. Runners had tried to get this in runs for a while with no luck. No one was able to hit the log launch. It was so hard that people were having seriously heated debates in the Discord about getting it banned. It eventually got brought to Charlie's attention, to which he said this: "I don't see a time I'll ever ban a trick, to be honest, unless it makes the run unwatchable or which log skip is not. Hitting that is pure hype, and then the pressure is on to not fuck up after." So it was settled. It would not get banned. Runners would have to figure something out or some way to do it. It took a full 2 days before someone found a better launch setup using nearby planks. This plank launch would be the reason another new ruling would be made. Instead of having a hard 60 FPS cap on the run, it was a soft FPS cap, meaning that you couldn't go above 60, but you could go below 60. The thing about the plank launch is that it sends you way too far in the air. Like, you are literally in the air for way too long and it's not fast. But runners started experimenting and they found that if you lower the FPS to around 20, you can get a much better launch that gets you to the mansion much more consistently. And so, this would become the new age of Amok running. There had now been a more consistent way to hit the launch. It wasn't super consistent, and runners would still lose many runs to it, but it was consistent enough to do it in a run. The first run to include the full crane skip and mansion skip was Spicy's 2652. He had cut the 27, which was previously thought to be basically impossible without these skips. And at this point, to get a world record, you basically needed to hit your cock skip, the cone skip, mansion plank skip, all in one run, amongst the other optimizations that had already been found earlier on in the challenge and had been in the previous world records. Now fast forward in the timeline, at this point, time is ticking. On the final day, the people who had not already gone insane from Amok, and trust me, a lot of people stopped running the game once mansion skip and crane skip became a part of needing to get world record. The main runners people were looking at were Spicy, Zach, Distortion, Ouija, and Bobto.
Ouija!
They were all running on the final day. Zach
I know
had
Ouija.
25:33 a few days prior.
Ouija is,
and it was still
I think
sitting
right
at
now
the
considered to be the overall best Super Mario 64 runner.
Like it was possible that Zach
He's like this close to having all 4 records.
Challenge. Distortion had a run going where he hit his crane skip and mansion skip. This run was poised to beat the world record handedly after finishing the final boss fight. And at this point, you're basically set free. However, a new discovery had been found the day before called bowling, which is one of the most absurd looking tricks in the entire run. It looks like something straight out of GTA or something, where if you set your FPS to a very low number and walk into a moving car, which is RNG dependent whether or not the car will be there, you get sent flying forward through the second headache scene, and Distortion needed to hit this skip in order to get the world record. It was the last thing sitting between him and $10,000.
I think we can still get it. I'm gonna go for it. Good dude.
He said f it on this very run that had a 25:24 best possible time.
Bro, no. Oh, he wasn't moving fast enough. Rip run.
He didn't hit the skip, and it lost him his only run that would get to that point on world record pace that day. With only a few hours left on the final day, and Zach's 25:33 still sitting in first place, it seemed that it might be over. However, with 2 hours left remaining in the challenge, Ouija had gotten a run going that had hit crane skip and mansion skip, and it looked great for world record pace. But just because you hit these tricks did not guarantee a world record, as Zach's run had hit those tricks and had clean gameplay. Not only that, but I've yet to cover the car chase sequence. In the last 5 minutes of the run, you have to do a car chase in which you drive around the city to get to the graveyard for God knows what reason. If you bump into anything or anyone or slow down even slightly anywhere, you immediately get popped in the head by these cops that are chasing you, and you have to redo the chase, essentially killing any run that happens to. This makes it arguably the most nerve-wracking part of the run before finishing it up. So there Ouija was, on world record pace, only needed to get through the chase and have a somewhat clean boss fight, and he was basically set for a world record. He was doing the car chase, hitting the turns, had close calls, and ultimately made it to the graveyard without any issues. He had a somewhat dirty boss fight, which left him having only a few seconds to spare to get the world record. He had approached the boat, had his dialogue, time was ticking. He didn't want to go for moist skip at the end, as it's just a trick that if you miss it even once, it's already not worth going for, and it's a very difficult trick that no one had really seemed to master. He got to the end of the game where you have to push Linda's coffin into the water.
Moist
And he had
skip.
done it. Ouija had secured the run. With 2 hours left in the challenge, he got a 25:32, beating Zach's world record by 1 second.
I have a lot of conflicting thoughts. That's kind of why I'm not hopping off super hard.
And in true Ouija fashion, he immediately reset the run and continued doing attempts.
I really have to do more. But we got world record. I'm happy. And thanks for the subs and the support. But I have to do more.
The Amok machine was running at full capacity, yet Ouija's run sat atop the leaderboard, and as time went out and runners lost their final runs and had their final Amok, Ouija was crowned as the champion after 2 weeks of hardcore Amoking. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good night, or day, or whatever. Bye.
Perfect.
Half in the bag.
I love this job.
Hold on a minute, Johnny. I thought you said in the last video you wouldn't be watching this series anymore. You said you'd given up. Well, it would appear we're back for round 3, wouldn't it? And for any of you out there saying, oh, Johnny, you're just doing this for the likes, you're just doing this for the views, for the subs.
You are correct.
I mean, yeah, but you don't have to say it out loud, do you? Alright? The hate train is still moving, baby. And we're going to start with the obligatory score check. I mean, how else would we kick off this little escapade? Looks like that 7% on Rotten Tomatoes is somehow fallen once again to 6%. How is this even possible? And that 1.7 on IMDb is... Oh, it's
nice.
1.3. My neighbour got a better IMDb score that one time he kicked a pigeon. You know, I'm starting to believe the conspiracy theory that this is an inside job and it was made to be intentionally bad, because there's no way a team of creatives with good intentions got together and made something this cataclysmically awful. There's no way. And I'm guessing the majority of you have heard the rather puzzling news that Season 2 has apparently been greenlit and is now in production.
Oh,
Finding
no.
out they're making a Season 2 of this show is kind of like finding out that the guy who broke into your house and stole your laptop also took a poop on your mattress. It's like, you know, compared to the earlier news, it's not quite as bad, but it's just more bad news, isn't it? Anyway, I have a beverage and a fresh pack of props, so it would appear that I'm ready to watch episode 3. God help us all.
Previously on Velvet.
I have not seen episode 3 yet, but I think Scooby is actually in there. And he... Yeah.
Okay, for those of you saying boo, same joke twice. Not this time. That was legit. I didn't edit that one bit. Okay, it's the same joke twice, but you almost believe me. And if you think that was funny, strap in or strap on, because this episode kicks off with some killer comedy.
Let's finally talk about the only thing you've ever really wanted to know about me.
She's got a little chunk and she put chunks on it.
You fed the cat Sophie's prenatal vitamins.
Does anyone actually watch it? For real? Like, apart from people like me, who watch this show to dunk on it and make videos, there's no way human beings with most of a brain sit down and watch this for recreational purposes. There is no way. I refuse to believe it. What did the focus groups for this show look like? This. Of course, the question on all of your lips is, Johnny, please tell me, what is written on the back of Velma's underwear? And of course, it's smart ass. It's kidding, because it's written on it. Yeah, and if Velma falling over wasn't funny enough for you, don't worry. They got punchlines just waiting for you. Episode 3, let's go. I'm so glad these aren't our episodes.
Norda, guess what Daphne gave me?
What? What was that?
Norda.
It's just not how people act. Why you gotta do them like that?
Okay, he cares, but it's not a big deal.
You possibly being gay is a huge deal. For one, it reduces me to a cliched straight best friend.
Can we go back to the days when comedy wasn't self-aware? I think we've had our fill. We've had our quote of everyone, Rick and Morty, yeah, haha. The Stanley Parable, that was brilliant. It was good. I liked it. Everything after that, can we just forget about it? I want my comedy to be as unaware as Mindy herself.
We only kissed because Daphne was trying to stop a hallucination. She gave me my...
I'm not too sure what they're going for here. I mean, it's a bit on the nose. Is it just supposed to be like a little funny haha moment? And the two guys are the punchline? Also, can't help but notice it says bully on the back wall as well. Can thinking too deeply about something stupid make you stupid? I think it might.
You told her your dad?
He's a therapist. I thought you might want to talk to someone about whether you like women, or maybe women and one cool guy.
What are these characters? Why is Norville so weird? His character is almost more disappointing than Velma. I mean, Shaggy is universally loved. Everyone loves Shaggy. Even people who've not watched Scooby-Doo love Shaggy because of the memes. Norville, though, I have no idea. They took
Ultimate
out his
instinct
personality
check.
and forgot to put something back in.
Ultimate Instinct
I have
Shags.
no idea who this guy is supposed to be. His only job so far in the show has been to
Perfect.
tell the audience that Velma is lovable. Rather than writing a character,
I still have not seen the movie, but I know Ultimate
to
Instinct
explicitly
Shags.
tell you that you should love the other character. And in doing so, they've made two unlikable characters. I don't know if this is dumb levels of genius or genius levels of dumb. But either way, it's turning my brain into a cup noodle.
Your dad is a high school guidance counselor, the lowest form of therapist. He's worse than the free therapy app I downloaded that's obviously Russian spyware.
So, lots of people online have been calling the show woke. Now, I can't stand that phrase. I think it's cringe as fuck. But I'm not too sure myself, because so far, the butt of the joke has been two guys kissing, a black guy who's creepy and dumb, and school counselors? Okay, I mean, seems like an odd group of people to poke fun at, but hey, anyone can get it, I guess.
О, это Вельма. Интересно, она гей?
Okay, I can't keep calling this show unfunny, because that in itself is pretty unfunny. Jesus Christ, this show is unfunny.
Good morning, my students!
Good morning, Mom. And now my turn. Good morning, my students.
Yes, very subtle. Okay, I get that he's a white guy, but like, why do the students not like him? They love the headmistress, but they don't like the school therapist? I mean, surely they'd only ever have to interact with him if they had personal problems. And they go to him and he'd try and help them with it. So I don't know why the entire school would dislike him. Seems a bit ass backwards to me, but what do I know? Also, going back to the freeze frame of the students, now animators have an incredibly tough job. I would never talk smack about animators. They are made to work to ridiculous deadlines. So I'm going to go ahead and blame the production team for either not paying them enough or not giving them enough time. But it looks like they've been taking tips from Rings of Power, as a number of people in this crowd have just been copy and pasted and mirrored. Admittedly, not a lot of people would notice, but I think it says a lot about the ethic of the show. Also, don't know if this is intentional, but that guy there looks like every Recess character smushed into one.
Your dad is worse for teen mental health than waist trainers.
It's not even the subject matter. It's just not funny. I know I keep calling the show unfunny, but it's like watching a comedian bomb for 30 minutes straight. It's really rough. And why does Velma have such a vendetta against therapists? You can't tell me this is supposed to be a likable character. The writers are sat there, they're brainstorming some shtick for Velma to have in this episode, and they came up with, and she keeps dunking on therapists.
You can't spell mental health without me.
You can't spell kill me without me either. Okay.
Okay, does the fact that he's white being the reason he's getting dunked on, does that bother me? No, not in the slightest. Bit cringe, sure. Bit of an easy target, maybe, yeah. But if you think about it, he's holding an assembly to raise like awareness about mental health for students, and the writers have sat there and written every other character to make fun of him for it, including Velma and his own wife. It's unfunny and it's a pretty shitty message. Got the best of both worlds here.
All girls attend a women's self-defense class to protect themselves from any future serial killers.
Why don't the boys have to take a don't murder girls class?
Because I only have $50 in the budget to combat centuries of toxic masculinity.
Okay, if you know me, you'll know I don't give a shit about political opinions. I am here for the funny ha-has, and it doesn't go any deeper than that. Look, you want to talk about this stuff, cool. Doesn't bother me. But you thought the best platform to use to do so was Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I know. It makes complete sense when I say it out loud. Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Jones, there's like a talking meatloaf here to see you. Velma?
I think that's the first actually funny line of the show. 3 episodes in, 1 joke. That's not bad at all.
What's tomorrow? Oh no, is it fajita day in the cafeteria? Last year some kid lost an eye fighting for guac.
You know, you get those news articles written by AI. They brought us classics such as, "The rumor come out, does Bruno Mars is gay?" My point is, whatever bot wrote that article, they definitely hired to write the rest of this show. I don't know, actually, that might be a little bit hard on the AI there, I think. Anyway, we then have what I think is supposed to be a bit of a girl boss moment. where Daphne beats up a bunch of weedy-looking girls. Whoa, go Daphne! You really showed that vitamin deficient girl who's boss. Look, I think it's about time that this show told me what I need to become a great therapist.
The only thing a therapist really needs is a good cardigan.
Yeah, I'll make sure to make a note of that. Cheers.
Fred is probably innocent.
Yeah, but isn't it a little comforting to see a rich white guy get wrongly convicted for once?
I'm too distracted to enjoy it.
Okay, once again, the haha white people humor don't bother me at all. You know, you're going all out on the white jokes. You're not holding back, but you're playing it a bit tame with everything else. You know, you're playing it kind of easy. I think as long as you don't have malicious intent, I think you should be able to poke fun at everyone equally. But you're just playing it safe here. Come on.
Hey, stranger.
Okay, I think that's enough Velma for today. Make sure you join me for episode 4. That video should be coming out very soon. But in the meantime, subscribe, you bitch. And as always, a big shout out to my top tier members: Posabon, Flunky, Jax, Rennis, Gendro. And we're also welcoming 3 new top tier members: Cos, who had a great chat with you the other day, good to have you. Texas Lawman as well, great to have you on the channel. And Infinite Dum Dum, possibly the greatest name we have on our list. Welcome to the channel, my good sirs. And of course, the tier 2 members: Steve the Goat, Dr. Melsky, Saeed, MG Vogel, Kuno, Sakura, Mark, Maiden, Sensei, Frank, Hadziu, Michael Terpia, Jan Lich, Mendicant Bias, Dagger D69, Michael, and we're also welcoming ATS. Also had a good little chat with you as well. Welcome to the channel, my dude. Really appreciate it. And of course, a big shout out to the tier 1 members as well. Thank you each and every one of you who support me in this way. And we are rolling into February soon, so all of your names going to be going on the next poster, which should be arriving within the next couple of weeks. So as soon as that's here, we're going to get that up on the wall. And there we go! Another...
Carrie drew 2 mommies. Carrie drew 2 mommies. She told me they're married to each other. My teacher says that all that matters...
Important is what got things. The dude who doesn't exist.
About what is right and wrong, but what matters is how Jehovah feels.
Jehovah's Witnesses are probably most
Yahweh.
famous for this video. It made its rounds on social media a few years ago because it was pretty obvious to basically everybody that it's just bigoted, hateful, propagandistic nonsense. But this isn't the first or the last time they talked about LGBT issues. This is probably the most egregious because it's specifically targeted toward children, but they seem to have some weird obsession with relationships. They've been putting stuff out about it for years. So I want to take a look at some of their greatest hits. Before we look at some of the other stuff though, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the video we just watched. Their children's cartoon, Caleb and Sophia. It'll give you a baseline for what to expect from them if you haven't seen it before. Let's get into it.
People have their own ideas about what is right and wrong, but what matters is how Jehovah feels. That's why he invented marriage the way he did.
You mean 1 man and 1 woman?
Exactly. Jehovah's standards haven't changed. It's kind of like going on an airplane. What would happen if someone wanted to bring something on the plane that wasn't allowed?
They couldn't go on their trip.
Right. It's the same with Jehovah. He wants us to be his friend and live in paradise forever. But we have to follow his standards to get there.
Again, this is pretty standard belief for Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not surprising that something like this would come out of their production offices. The surprising part is that they decided to make a children's video about it. For the record, being gay isn't something you could just drop off somewhere like it's a bag. Spoken like somebody who understands absolutely nothing. And setting aside the fact that Jehovah isn't actually God's name in the Bible, it's Yahweh, I find it interesting they seem to be convinced that God thinks 1 man and 1 woman is the best type of marriage, when a lot of his top people throughout the Bible were polygamous. It's even more ridiculous to hear him say,
Jehovah's standards haven't changed.
Are we reading the same book? It feels like they missed large swaths of it. But that's kind of the Jehovah's Witness way. Ignore the stuff they don't like, zero in on the stuff they do like. It's impossible to use the Bible as a moral guide. It's a collection of 66 books written over the course of thousands of years by dozens of authors. Every moral position it espouses is reversed a chapter later. If you think you get your morals from the Bible, you're wrong. There are a total of 6 verses in the Bible that condemn being gay. 3 from the Old Testament, which are invalidated since Jesus came and fulfilled the old law, and the other 3 from the New Testament. It's arguable whether or not they were even referring to what we know as gay marriage today. But either way, there are lots of verses in the Bible that completely contradict the hate and condemnation you hear coming from Jehovah's Witnesses. And for the record, it is hate, whether they like that term or not. We'll get into that in a little bit. Just look at Romans 14:4. Who are you to judge the servants of someone else? It is their own master who will decide whether they succeed or fail. And they will succeed because the Lord is able to make them succeed. Verse 10 says, "You then who eat only vegetables, why do you pass judgment on others? And you who eat anything, why do you despise other believers?" Didn't realize the vegan debate was happening back then. All of us who stand before God will be judged by him, which means it's none of your goddamn business. Not to mention the fact that Jesus didn't say a word about it. You'd think if it was such an important thing, Jesus would have at least mentioned it, right? Gay people were around back then. Always have been. He specifically chose not to say anything about it because it didn't matter to him. You know why Jehovah's Witnesses care so much? Because they aren't just another religion. They go beyond that. They have a very hierarchical, top-down structure of control. The 8 governing body members seem to believe they've been endowed by God to make decisions and banish evildoers from their friends and family's lives if they do something they don't like. Anyways, the point is that Jehovah's Witnesses are selectively reading verses they like and ignoring the rest. Keep listening.
At Matthew 7:13 and 14, it talks about the road leading to paradise. To get there, Jehovah says we have to leave some things behind. That means anything Jehovah doesn't approve of.
But I want everyone to get to paradise.
So does Jehovah. And you know what? People can change. That's why we share his message. So, what can you say to Carrie?
Well, I could tell her about the paradise. I could tell her about the animals and the resurrection.
That's awesome! Let's practice.
Awesome! Yay!
Wow, that's messed up. Not only are they trying to convince children that being gay is evil and that they'll die in Armageddon, but they're also telling kids to go up to the other kids and tell them that God hates what they're doing and they're gonna die in Armageddon if they don't change their ways. I don't know how else to take this. Jehovah's Witnesses can get up on their soapbox and scream about how they don't hate anybody all they want, but they can't expect anybody to believe them when the facts are laid out like this. Does God hate evil? Do you want to be like God? Do you think being gay is evil? If you answer no to any of those questions, you aren't a Jehovah's Witness. If you answer yes to those questions, you're hateful. That's just what it is. They tend to release stuff like this around Pride Month every year, of course, but they're not hateful. Check out this clip from Jehovah's Witnesses.
There you are. Did you both get the email survey I sent? And you're both coming, right?
I must have missed it. I was on calls all morning. What's this about?
Well, the whole office is leaving early. We're going downtown to support the march for gay rights.
She won't go.
Why?
It's against her religion. Some of her people came by my house, and when I asked, they said your church won't support gay marriage.
Irene?
Diggs. Mind.
It's true. As Jehovah's Witnesses, we hold to the Bible standard on marriage, which is only between a man and a woman. And we remain politically neutral.
That's such ignorant thinking.
So persecuted, right? So mistreated. All they want to do is exclude people from their beliefs, kick their young children out of the home, and refuse to do business with or speak to somebody based on an intrinsic quality about them. And the rest of the world doesn't like that. If only the world were more understanding. They always make themselves out to be the victim in every situation. In reality, the US Constitution was based on this one simple principle. Your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose. You're free to swing your fist anywhere you want, except at my face. When the police step in and punish you for swinging your fist at my face, it isn't a violation of your rights, it's a protection of mine. But this has been the strategy of hate mongers since the dawn of time. Claim they're the ones being persecuted when they're called out for persecuting somebody else. Arrest that guy. He hurt my fist with his face. Most people see straight through it, but the people inside the religion don't. They think they're in the right. They honestly think they're the ones being persecuted, and persecution is a useful tool to radicalize their members. If they feel like they're the ones being mistreated, they'll do anything to alleviate the situation. Literally anything. Luckily, in this case, Jehovah's Witnesses are pacifists. They don't believe in violence as a solution to anything, so they let their radicalism out in other ways, like throwing themselves deeper into the belief system and donating their life savings to the governing body, for example. Keep watching.
I understand it's a sensitive subject.
I have a daughter who deserves her rights.
Trust me, Amber. As one of Jehovah's Witnesses, we believe everyone has a right to choose how they live. And I would never force my beliefs on anyone.
But you won't go.
Just as I would never force my beliefs on you. All I ask is the same respect. And no, I won't be going.
I have to go back to work.
Look, obviously, Irene, I don't agree with your perspective. But I do appreciate that you're not pushing it on anyone else.
Thank you.
So brave, so strong. This kind of thing never happened in a workplace. Jehovah's Witnesses probably don't even realize it, but they're the ones that constantly bring up their beliefs. Nobody cares, but they want to make sure everybody around them is fully aware that they're Jehovah's Witnesses and they think being gay is wrong. Making sure everybody around you knows is actually a religious mandate, if you can believe it. They tell their people if you don't spread the word about Jehovah, you won't make it through Armageddon. God will take you out and that'll be it.
The humans sitting next to you, they might have an idea because they know you well and you haven't been out in service in weeks. Well, guess what? Most likely God's seeing some blood all over your hands. Or they go totally inactive. We appeal to them, we try to help, but you cannot water down what God says here. If your hands are not clean because you've been out warning, then they have blood on them, and you're gonna lose your life.
That's straight up disturbed. Pure manipulation all the way down. Like I said, Jehovah's Witnesses probably don't even realize it, but they're the ones that are constantly bringing this stuff up. They're the ones putting themselves in these situations. They put on what they call the new personality. Dead serious, that's really what they call it. And part of putting on the new personality is making sure everybody around you knows you're a Jehovah's Witness and that you don't like that gay people exist in society. In the same video from a minute ago, the one about this poor, persecuted Jehovah's Witness who just wants to persecute other people in peace, they portray another scenario. This time, it's about a teenager in school who's being persecuted for her beliefs. Before we continue, I want to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me in a few ways. First, there's Patreon. That's probably the best way. But if you want to get something back for your support, you can check me out on Teespring. I sell all kinds of shirts and mugs and stuff. Or you can check out my other YouTube channels. I have my Fireside Chat channel where I talk about the intersection between religion and politics. I have my Telltale Unfiltered channel where I watch sermons and do long-form breakdowns of people like Jehovah's Witnesses, Kenneth Copeland, and others. Or you can check out my Telltale Reads channel where I read books by extremists. We just got through reading Greg Locke's book, This Means War, We Will Not Surrender Through Silence. Now we're reading a book called Donald Trump, the Messiah, the Christ. Dude believes Trump is literally the second coming of Jesus. His reasoning gets absolutely wild. On top of that, every video stands independent of the rest. You can jump in at any point and listen to what he had to say. And I'll add the extra context from previous chapters if it's necessary. Anyways, check that out if it sounds interesting. All links are in the description. Okay, now let's talk about this poor persecuted Jehovah's Witness in school. Check it out.
Great discussion today, everyone. Remember, midterms are this Friday. No excuses. That includes you, Jordan. You were noticeably silent during our discussion today, Olivia.
I was. I guess I just didn't have much to say.
Aren't you concerned about gay rights?
Well, it seems like a political issue, and I stay neutral when it comes to political stuff.
But it's not a political issue. This is a human rights issue.
Mr. Dallas, she's like crazy religious.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, you don't understand. Jehovah's Witnesses hate everybody that isn't straight.
That's not true. We don't hate anyone.
Keep telling yourself that. You'll actually start to believe it. Like I said earlier, it's all about convincing their members that they're the ones being persecuted when they're the ones persecuting others. That man hurt my fist with his face. And again, this situation is completely fabricated. I can't imagine a class subject as part of a public school curriculum that would require students to participate and speak positively about the LGBT community. And if they don't specifically participate and speak positively about them, then they're called out at the end of class. What kind of fantasy land do these people live in? Seriously, these are completely made up scenarios, fabricated to make them feel more persecuted. The reason they're drawing out these ridiculous, unrealistic scenarios is actually very calculated. Like I said earlier, most of the time, Jehovah's Witnesses are the ones bringing it up. And when that happens, the situation they find themselves in is a lot less morally ambiguous. It's pretty clear who the aggressor is in these situations. But instead of portraying the situation as it usually is, which is Jehovah's Witnesses getting aggressive about the LGBT community and making sure everybody around them is fully aware of how they feel, they framed it in a much less clear-cut situation to show their members how they should react when their beliefs are challenged. That's the nature of propaganda. And Jehovah's Witnesses are most definitely masters of propaganda. I didn't realize it until I left the religion myself, but that's basically all they release. Propagandistic framing, full of logical fallacies and fabricated persecution. Let's keep watching this video.
I've spoken with your people before. They seem big on equality.
We are. The Bible says God isn't partial, so we believe that everyone should be treated fairly.
Good.
Except when they're trying to stick their peen in something else than the vagine.
No, we don't.
But I thought you just said everyone should be treated equal. I'm confused.
Called it.
Jordan, don't you have a class to get to? As I was saying.
My God, this is a ridiculous fake situation. These aren't actors, by the by. These are all Jehovah's Witnesses. If you notice, not one single person has a beard, because beards are banned in the religion. If you ever see a beard in a Jehovah's Witness video, it's a glue-on. They've tried to build their own weird little self-sustaining government and largely succeeded. They have cult compounds in New York State that aren't even on the same power grid as anybody else. They fully expect the world to turn against them, at which point they're gonna have to lock the doors and wait for the angels to swoop in and take out their enemies. It's just weird. So they don't involve outsiders in literally anything that they do, including the films they produce.
How is that not a little hypocritical? Saying that you love everyone, and then excluding certain people.
Honestly, Mr. Dallas, I wondered the same thing.
Okay.
And then I read the Bible.
And?
Well, I researched it in the Bible, and I realized that God accepts all people, but he doesn't accept all conduct.
Because being gay is a personality flaw in their mind. You know, something you should just drop off like a bag at an airport.
What would happen if someone wanted to bring something on the plane that wasn't allowed?
They couldn't go on the trip.
Right! To get there, Jehovah says we have to leave some things behind.
Not only do they have no idea what they're talking about, but they're convinced they do know what they're talking about. And they're convinced they're the victims in every situation. It's honestly ridiculous. Keep watching.
But he doesn't accept all conduct.
What does that mean?
It means that you can't be abusing drugs, you can't be stealing, or being violent and still be a witness. There's just certain actions that God just doesn't accept.
Including how someone expresses their sexuality?
In some cases, yes. We follow God's standards, not having sex without being married.
Well, if that's how you feel, that's your right. Personally, it seems a tad archaic to me, but to each their own.
Archaic isn't really the word. Bigoted? hateful, pointless, probably a little closer. But again, this is propaganda, and they wanted to give it a good ending apparently. So this teacher just gave a light criticism to teach the members how to deal with the most common arguments, and then the teacher agreed that they have the right to believe what they want. Of course, I agree, they do have the right to believe what they want, but I have the right to point out why they're wrong. And honestly, in my opinion, if a religion like this discriminates against a protected class, they shouldn't be tax exempt. Follow my logic here. There are some good reasons for discrimination in, say, hiring practices, for example. Say you're running a news organization, you're trying to report on a women's rights issue. I think it's reasonable to specifically hire a woman to do the reporting on the story. But that's not what's happening with Jehovah's Witnesses. They run a media empire. They generate billions of dollars in revenue, not just in member donations. They've basically been getting their members to do what they call quick builds, where they pay for the raw materials for a new church building, or Kingdom Hall as they call it. The members of the congregation all get together on a Friday, and by Monday, a brand new building is erected on the property. I've even participated in a few when I was a Jehovah's Witness. Then they move into the new Kingdom Hall and sell off the old building. They're basically a real estate and printing company that exploits the free labor of their members. That's how they make money. Now, as a revenue-generating organization, in my opinion, they shouldn't be allowed to discriminate against anybody, period. But what they're doing isn't just discrimination. They specifically instruct their members to not talk to members who come out as gay, and only maintain the most basic level of communication with outsiders who are gay. If they know somebody who's gay, you shouldn't be friends with them. You should only communicate when absolutely necessary, including coworkers. If your 13-year-old comes out as gay, you should kick them out of the house and never speak to them again, even if that means they're homeless. And if you refuse to stop speaking to them, if you refuse to make them homeless, then your friends and family will never speak to you again. I am dead serious. They ruin lives with this. They ruined mine. It took me years to piece it back together. And I wasn't even gay. I just didn't believe the same way they did anymore. I haven't had a relationship with my mom in 15 years, and I never will again until the day she dies. When discrimination isn't just an after effect, when it's not just appearing in nonprofit organizations as an unintended bias, but it's explicitly commanded by the leadership with consequences otherwise, they shouldn't be granted tax-exempt status. Tax exemption is supposed to be a government subsidy for organizations that provide some tangible societal good. Jehovah's Witnesses offer nothing but hate, divisiveness, and bigotry. They should lose tax-exempt status. Let's watch the rest of this clip.
Hey, does the Bible really say all that? Yeah,
No.
it does. Okay, maybe you could show me sometime. Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
No, not awesome.
No, it doesn't. Like I said earlier, the Bible mentions homosexuality a total of 6 times. Any other mentions were retroactively added by people who wanted to see it. For example, Sodom and Gomorrah weren't destroyed because the residents were gay. That's just what churches teach. They were destroyed for their ill treatment of the poor. But Jehovah's Witnesses will selectively read what they want from the Bible and ignore everything else. That's been their way since the very beginning, and that's how they came to the conclusion that Jesus already came back in 1914. Bizarre conclusions built on ridiculous misinterpretations. And when they're challenged on those bizarre conclusions, they pretend they're being punched in the face, rather than accurately representing the situation as what it is. They have an inability to resist spreading hate. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. All links are in the description as always. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. As most of you know, I have a series where I've gone through every single Caleb and Sophia video ever put out by Jehovah's Witnesses. Many of them are innocuous.
Did Mommy tell you to take off your shoes?
Yes.
Mom worked very hard to clean the house today.
Some of them are downright harmful and contain derogatory, hateful content.
Carrie drew 2 mommies. She told me they're married to each other.
People have their own ideas about what is right and wrong, but what matters is how Jehovah feels.
But all of them push the agenda of the Jehovah's Witness religion in some way. They try to get by parents' trepidation by telling them it's just a good message for anybody, quote unquote, and send the kids into a corner to watch it together while the Jehovah's Witnesses try to brainwash the adults solo. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses have released a new Caleb and Sophia video. This one's kind of strange to me because they released a 3-minute trailer for it first, so naturally I was expecting a feature-length video. But nope, it's a 9-minute video. Why would you release a 3-minute trailer for a 9-minute video? Just release the whole fucking thing. Anyways, I covered the trailer on my channel a while back, but since the whole thing is out now, let's give it a watch. It's called Jehovah Forgives. Let's get into it.
Favourite New Zealander, right behind Carl Urban and Edmund Hillary and Rowan from Viva the Dirt League. He's top 5, easy. And recently they've been bashing out the Flat Earth content like they're possessed. So what better way to keep that going than inviting them on the channel? Roll the credits.
Ahoy ahoy all, and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Planawalk. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin, a big thank you to Simon Dan for letting me on his channel. Today we are going to be looking at a Flat Earther who, when I first saw him, I thought he was just joking, but the more content that I've seen from him, the more I think that he might actually be a legitimate Flat Earther.
Hey guys, you might know me as KCD Industry on TikTok. Well, I'm no longer KCD Industry on TikTok.
Okay, so you're now Caleb.fe on TikTok. Wonder what happened there to cause the name change.
Why? Oh, well, I opened TikTok about 20 minutes ago and it said account
then
status logged out.
he
I'm like,
opened
what the
his
hell? I
mind.
just need to log back in? Okay. Oh, I wasn't logged out. I was permanently banned. Again.
Ah, ban evasion, that's why. You know, Flat Earthers are actually really good at that. I assume that it has something to do with all the mental gymnastics that they have to do to just be a Flat Earther. So, you know, having to dodge something like a ban becomes very easy for them. Now, of course, I understand that TikTok can be quite trigger happy when it comes to bans, and I don't know what he was banned for. So I'm not saying whether the ban was a good thing or a bad thing. But there is a reason why I'm showing you this, because this video is just hilarious.
I guess it's time to start our Flat Earth journey all over again. What, you think I'm mad? You think I'm sad? Think you can break my spirit? No, my followers are just lost. They'll find me.
Yes, they are very lost indeed. I think that it might have something to do with
Very,
that Flat Earth
very
journey
lost.
that you mentioned about earlier. You know, it's not a good idea to play follow the leader where the leader is a Flat Earther. Because they think that flat maps are completely accurate, you are going to get lost.
But with your guys' help, I think that we can help a lot of my lost followers find me again.
You are the one that got them lost. If it weren't for you saying, hey, let's play follow the leader, then your followers would not have gotten lost. Don't expect me to help. I had nothing to do with this. You need to take responsibility. Okay, a Flat Earther taking responsibility sounds kind of scary.
Also, the heliocentric model completely violates the second law of thermodynamics, so look into that.
Okay, now he's actually made a claim that we can dig into, and he's just wrong. The second law of thermodynamics states that in a closed system, entropy tends to increase. Now, entropy, when talking about thermodynamics, refers to the amount of energy in a system that cannot be used to do work. Now, the atmosphere being held to Earth by gravity does not violate the second law of thermodynamics in any way, because that does not decrease entropy in any way. Of course, this completely ignores the fact that there is a pressure gradient, which Flat Earthers have yet to explain.
I'll say you've gotta go so high to see the curvature of the Earth because we're so small. But then again, just contradict themselves completely and say that this is curvature right here.
If you want to see an obviously curved horizon with your eyes, then yes, you have to go quite high. If you want to see the effects of curvature, like let's say boats disappearing over the horizon, then being closer to the ground actually helps with that. These are not two contradictory claims because they are not the same claim. They are two different claims.
This is an axe on a tree. Not like what else would it be?
Here's an idea. Maybe it's a, I don't know, a rock on a rock.
That was a
I
better
was
level
actually
up.
able to find that rock formation. It's called the King of Wings in New Mexico. Here it is from a different angle, and you'll notice
Last one
that
was
in the
kind of
background
crap.
there are some very similar rock formations.
But yeah,
It's very strange that
that's
no one is
actually a
claiming
problem
that
with
rocks
the
in the background
full
are axes left on trees
FOmarl?
because
FOmarl?
they don't actually look like axes left on trees. It's just
This
that
character
one rock
does get
kinda
quite a lot
looks
of
like an
like
axe on a tree.
dodge
This is a very
and
obvious
attack.
case of pareidolia. Now, nobody
And even
tell Roger
defense, I
about this,
think.
please. Now, here's something that may come as a bit of a surprise.
and not
Everything
that
I've
much
shown you in
MST.
this video from Caleb F.
The male one is even
It's
worse.
all been from one video.
The
In
male
course
one
of
that
less
doesn't
than
exist
2
in this
minutes,
game,
you
but the
managed to
male
talk about
force,
getting
male
back,
human,
losing a whole lot of flat earthers
male
during a game
human
of
force
Flight Leader and not
is
knowing
even
where they are.
more
A whole lot of
focused
random
on
flat Earth
melee
claims,
combat.
and a claim that sounds like it came from Mud Fossil University.
But yeah,
At least
she's
it isn't
similar.
a 2-hour live stream where nothing gets said, like a lot of other flat earthers do. Anyway, let's see what other breakneck bollocks he has to say.
How to understand that the Earth isn't spinning in 60 seconds using planes.
Okay, this is going to be fun. Him trying to use
What?
planes to convince me to become a flat earther when I'm Wolfie 3010.
We're told that the Earth spins 1,000 miles an hour.
Well, it actually spins at a rate of 15 degrees per hour because rotation is not measured in miles per hour. And you don't have to take my word for it that it spins at 15 degrees per hour. Just ask this guy.
But what we found is when we turned on that
Thanks,
gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift. A 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob.
So, hypothetically, and that's the only way that I can speak about the spin of the Earth because it's all hypothetical.
We were picking up a drift. A 15 degree per hour drift.
That is not hypothetical. That is an actual thing that happens. If you don't believe me, then a ring laser gyroscope is only $20,000 and you can test it yourself. And hey, maybe Bob is still trying to sell this, so you might be able to get it cheaper.
But if we took a flight from California to New York and then from New York back to California, science tells us that the flight going from California to New York isn't longer because you'd think it would be because the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour with us going east to New York, but it's simply not because apparently gravity pulls the atmosphere and the plane perfectly with the spin.
Well, no, it is not gravity, it is simply conservation of momentum. If you were inside of a plane cruising at a constant altitude and you decided to jump inside of the plane, you would not slam into the back wall. This is because momentum doesn't magically disappear simply because you're not on a surface that's moving.
But you guys have got serious problems going back from New York to California though. We'd be going against the spin of the Earth, meaning the flight should be shorter, but I've looked at them, they're like minutes off.
Again, conservation of momentum is a thing. You're trying to debunk the globe by ignoring the laws of physics.
Maybe that's why NASA always assumes a flat, non-rotating Earth in their documents.
Well, the more likely explanation for that is simplicity. If you try to account for something like the Earth spinning when you don't actually need to, then you're making your job more complicated than it actually needs to be. Anyway, you have a video that talks a bit about those documents, so why don't we take a look at it?
Here's a list here of every year that a US patent was released on how to control the weather. Feel free to search any of these patents up.
Okay then, I'll do that. Let's take a look at that propellant system one. Alright, so this is a patent that was on the list, and it's supposed to be about controlling the weather, remember? So, when we actually read it, turns out that it's about fuel for rocket and jet engines. That's not controlling the weather, buddy. However, hold on to your clips of Nigel Cheesyhands saying oops, because there is one mention of weather control on this page. It's right down in the cited by section, right here. If we take a look at this patent, it's certainly a patent about weather control. I'm not gonna disagree with you there. However, we can go right down to the patent citations. Every single one of these patents right here is in that list. So we can take a look at these patents. We could take a look at the smoke producing mixture one, for example, which has nothing to do with weather control. It's to produce a smoke screen for use in something like warfare. Now, if we look at the cited by section, we can see that there are 2 publications that have a publication date that could place them on that list. Only one of them is in that list. The one that's on the list is the metal chloride screening smoke mixture. Now, if we go back over to the one about weather control, we can see that that one also cites the metal chloride screening smoke mixture one. So what is clearly going on here, someone googled to see if they could find patents about weather control. They saw that a few patents mentioned it somewhere in the patent, didn't bother to read the patent to see if it was actually about weather control, and then made a list with what they found.
Oops.
But the thing that baffles me the most is, why lie about it and say that all the things on that list were about how to control the weather? You know, cloud seeding is real. You don't have to make up stuff about the government having controlled the weather when the government has controlled the weather. Sure, you might not get a nice long scary list, but you shouldn't need a nice long scary list in order to make your point.
Here's 3 documents from NASA admitting the Earth is flat and non-rotating. The DPS equations of motion use 4 assumptions that simplify the program while maintaining its fidelity for most maneuvers and applications: point mass modeling, non-turbulent atmosphere, zero-side forces, and a non-rotating Earth.
Okay, so it literally says there that it's making 4 assumptions to simplify the program, not 4 assumptions about how reality actually is. Especially given that one of the assumptions there is a non-turbulent atmosphere. Now, if we were to take these assumptions as absolute truth, then why hasn't a non-turbulent atmosphere society popped up?
This report documents the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Again, this is used for simplification, but let's talk about the non-turbulent atmosphere society for a second. Because if we actually read the part in the report about a flat, non-rotating Earth, we can also see that it mentions a stationary atmosphere. So, who's going to start the non-turbulent atmosphere society? Because clearly, we've all been lied to about the turbulence of the atmosphere.
Last one. The model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Again, it is literally talking about it being a simplification. Have you not read the surrounding text that provides context here?
But these new documents that I found last night on the CIA's website is gonna surprise you probably.
Alright then, this is something new. I'm excited. However, he didn't sound very confident when he said this is going to surprise you, because he had to add that probably after.
Photographic observations of the spectral intensity of the firmament. The spectral brightness of the firmament along the alsocanter of the sun was observed. Here's a document, the color temperature of the firmament. Investigation on the zodiacal light, provisional results obtained by the observation of the Soviet expedition in Egypt of the diurnal firmament can attain up to 70%. You're admitting it. There is a hard, fast barrier above us, and it's not called the Van Allen belts, just like the science community is trying to perpetuate now.
You know, firmament doesn't have to mean dome, like you're thinking. It can literally mean sky. In fact, you could take those documents, take the word firmament out and replace it with the word sky, and it would still make sense. However, I decided to have a quick skim over these documents because whenever I do that, it seems that it doesn't turn out well for the sky. Okay, so here we have the document that was talked about, and we can go to page 35, and there we see something about interplanetary dust. More so, interplanetary dust at a distance of 0.05 AU, otherwise known as astronomical units. So the document that supposedly proves that Earth has a dome over it also talks about interplanetary dust that is 7 million kilometers away. Oops.
Oops. They tell you the truth in the patents, in the papers, in the documents. They just hope that you won't go reading them. Me? I'm gonna continue reading these patents and I'm gonna find the truth.
Okay, here's a pro tip. Why don't you actually read what you say that you've read, because they all seem to disagree with you when I actually read them. Anyway, I think this is a good place to end it, so if you want to see more, I have a channel called Planawalk and you can see more of my content over there, and I might even make a second video to this video. This was a really fun video to make, by the way. But like I mentioned before, we are all done and dusted for another Flat Earth Friday. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the subscribe button, not only on Simon Dan's channel, but my channel. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers this year. And if you really enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like on it as well. It really helps the channel out. Just enough time for me to once again thank Simon Dan for bringing me onto his channel. It is very much appreciated. I have been Planawalk. Between you and me, thank you. for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And we're back.
What do we want to talk about next? Where are we at?
I got one other movie, and then I'm out.
Oh, God.
Then I got TV shows, lots of TV shows, which I'll kind of quickly talk about because TV shows are complicated.
Yeah.
I don't want to start babbling. But I know you like Bodies.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to add that to my list.
Right, I didn't.
As nihilistic as they look on the internet. You guys, this is me.
Oh. Whoa.
That was one of those movies where you see the trailer and you're like,
nope.
Are they in on the joke?
You're always gaslighting me. You fucking trigger me. You are so toxic. Relax. You're silencing me.
And it turns out they are.
Well, you see Pete Davidson,
Well, that's, yeah.
Nope.
But similar to the Suicide Squad, where you see Pete Davidson and you're like, oh, good, he's out already.
I love this movie. I'm surprised.
Yeah, this is again like The Menu, a movie where it's more of a social satire than any sort of like, I don't know. You hear that dialogue in the trailer and you're like, is this a joke? I can't tell.
Noise.
But no, by the time you get to the end, it's like the perfect build-up. Once the explanation of how this all started is revealed, it makes everything retroactively so much funnier.
Yeah, and there's a good tone to it too, like this uncomfortable tone.
Yeah.
Because there's all these characters, and they're all like kind of rich kids, and you get this vibe that there's something underlying in their relationships, and then it turns into like they play this game. That turns into like a slasher movie or whodunit kind of thing, and it's kind of twisted and fun and entertaining, and I wasn't expecting that. And I don't mind Pete Davidson as an actor. I didn't see King of Staten Island. I don't know if I can handle a feature with him, but his public persona is annoying, but his acting, I don't mind. Sort of like the Tom Cruise effect. It's like he's weird in real life, but on screen he's playing a character. He does his job, and he's fine in it, and I really enjoyed it.
That all you got, mother?
I have a transition out of this real quick.
Oh, okay.
To one of my favorite shows this year. This show called Fleischman is in Trouble.
Toby Fleischman woke one morning inside the city he'd lived in all his adult life.
Lizzie Kaplan, Jesse Eisenberg, Adam Brody, and Claire Danes. And it's based on a novel, which is a perfect example of a novel done right in, not that I've read the novel, but it's a 8-episode long thing. So it really feels like they probably...
We're getting into detail about things, but not going on too long.
Yeah, or rushing it in a 2-hour movie. So it's very witty, very well acted. It's the first 6 episodes are all from his perspective. Claire Danes plays his wife, and they get a divorce, and she's like a talent actor. She doesn't care about her kids, and she's very cold. And he's a doctor, but he's very passionate about his work and the work of patients, and blah 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 blah. And she's very like money oriented. She wants money, and you always see everything from his perspective. And their life kind of falls apart, and they get a divorce. And then Lizzie Kaplan and Adam Brody play Jesse Eisenberg's college buddies who are all grown up. They're all in their 40s. So it's like a coming of middle-age story where they're kind of all of them are reevaluating their lives. Like, we're in our early 40s, and everyone's kind of evaluating stuff. But Claire Danes just disappears for weeks, and then Jesse Eisenberg sat with the kids, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm so mad. And I joked around that the show should be called My So-Called Wife. Cleverly, I joked around until you hit the Claire Danes episode. where you get her side of the story.
Okay.
And it rips your soul out.
Oh.
It's a little Rashomon where it tells the same story from different perspectives at a certain point.
Okay.
It's a great coming of middle age story done in 8 parts that's for mature audiences. It's not for Zoomers on TikTok. They're evaluating the choices that they've made that led them to that point and settling into the idea that this is the rest of your life. So it seems like it's a good book, but I haven't read it because I don't read. I watch Ant-Man movies.
Well, you've given me 2 segue options. We're at a fork in the road. This is like a choose your own adventure. I can either go from speaking of not made for Zoomers, or I could go coming of middle age. Coming of middle age. Coming of middle aged, okay. Watch Clerks 3.
What?
Can't catch my breath, man.
Mr. Dante! I need an ambulance at the quick stop.
Like a lot of people
Oh,
our
ambulance.
age, our generation, we have a very long and complicated history with Kevin Smith. Clerks was a very important movie to me. That was like, oh, you can just make stuff. It was a very important movie to me as a teenager. So this is like, you get to this and it's like, well, I guess I gotta watch it, right? I don't want to be too mean and call it pathetic, but I guess I just did. This was kind of awful in a really like baffling and fascinating way. Cause
It's got good reviews.
did it?
I think so.
Did it get good reviews from his diehard fans? Because it seems to be the only people he's appealing to anymore, or catering to anymore, which I guess is fine. He kind of knows his place, he knows his audience, and he's just making stuff directly for them, which is kind of why I lost interest years ago. I had more interest in him when he started to do like weird shit. He did that Red State movie.
I was gonna say, it seemed like he branched out.
Yeah,
with,
he did
like,
Tusk.
Weird horror movies.
And they're not great, but they're interesting, and they're kind of weird, and they're definitely different for him.
What's the hockey movie, Girls with Hockey Sticks?
Oh, Yoga Hosers. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen. But that's like, that was met with such
Yoga
harsh
what?
criticism. There, it's like, okay, I'll go back and do a Jay and Silent Bob movie. This movie is, and it's obviously based on what really happened to him. He had his heart attack, and in the movie, you have the 2 clerks. There's Dante and Randall. Randall has a heart attack and says, oh, I survived my heart attack. I've got a new lease on life. I want to make a movie about us working in the convenience store. So you get self-reflective of him making the original Clerks.
So it gets a little meta?
It's the whole middle of the movie is just them making the original Clerks. And it's meant to make you say, I remember that. I remember that. So Randall has a heart attack. That's the inciting incident of the movie. And then in the 3rd act of the movie, spoilers. Well, first of all, do you remember the 2nd movie at all?
I don't think I ever saw it.
Well, Dante ends up marrying Rosario Dawson.
Oh, I did see it.
Which is the most unbelievable thing. So that's how it ends. He marries her, she's pregnant. This movie starts off because they can't afford Rosario Dawson anymore for more than 1 day, so she's dead. And the backstory is, she died while pregnant. So Dante, since the end of the 2nd movie, he's just been miserable because
Did the baby die?
His wife and unborn baby died. And so the whole movie
Great
is
way to start off your comedy.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole thing, is like he wants to tug at your heartstrings and make you cry. So that's the start of the movie. Then Randall has a heart attack and wants to make a movie. So Dante helps him make the movie. And then in the 3rd act of this movie, Dante also has a heart attack and he dies.
What's that saying? Write what you know?
I guess, but...
So everyone has a heart attack?
Everyone has a heart attack.
Does everyone wear embarrassing clothes, too?
But that's the thing, is like, so Rosario Dawson, she has a quick cameo.
Can you please stop?
Where it's like he's sort of talking to her in kind of a dream form.
Just bit
and her
my
whole
lip.
Thing, she's saying to him, like,
Can you please just
I died. It's
stop
tragic,
giving
but I
me
died.
those stupid power items.
You can still write the next
Like,
chapter of your life. You have to move
why?
on, do something else with your life. But then he doesn't. He just gets into an
just
argument,
stop.
and disavows his friendship with Randall, and then dies. And that's the movie. It's so baffling. Because it's like, if he had a heart attack at the beginning of the movie, and that's his new lease on life, I'm going to make a movie. Like, narratively, that makes sense. but having his friend be the one to have the heart attack and want to make the movie, and then he's just miserable the whole time, and then he just dies. Like, what are you saying? Narratively, what is the point of any of this?
2 heart attacks?
Both characters have a heart attack. Other than to make your diehard audience say, I remember these characters, and now one of them died, so that makes me sad. But narratively, what's the purpose of it?
There's only one man who can answer that question, Jay.
Christopher Nolan?
Christopher Nolan. And his new film, Oppenheimer.
I'm sure Kevin Smith can explain his reasoning behind all of this.
They really want to watch Oppenheimer.
It went on for 5 hours.
I think it needs more weed.
Really want to watch Oppenheimer.
Something that doesn't appeal to Zoomers.
Like,
Very
really.
quickly. I watched Weird, the Ali Yankovic story.
They bring it up twice per episode, at least.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine if you don't know anything about the history of Weird Al or the history of 80s pop music, like Madonna, all these people, I can't imagine you getting anything out of this, because that's the whole movie. It's just playing on jokes and your expectations of these people.
Fake
biopic movie. It's very, very funny. The kind of comedy that isn't made now, where it's just jokes nonstop from beginning to end, doesn't take anything seriously. If you're a fan of Weird Al, if you're a fan of his humor, if you like UHF, this is right in that same vein.
Nice.
Don't have a lot to say about it other than it made me laugh pretty consistently for 90 minutes, and then I was out.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to run through my favorite TV shows now that we've come back from our commercial break. I just found out a show that I really loved was canceled by Netflix. It's called 1899.
You think the passengers, they're still alive? La coulée?
Oh yeah, they canceled it after 1 season because they're Netflix.
Yeah, I saw one comment saying that the material was very close to something else, and Netflix was worried they were going to be sued, but I don't know how much weight that carries. It's just a silly internet comment, and I have no idea. But this is
if Stranger Things hasn't been sued for ripping off everybody, then nothing will.
But 1899, it's a big ship, looks like the Titanic. And there's a bunch of people on board from all different races and classes and languages, and they all speak different languages. Don't watch the English dubbed version because it looks horrible. Watch it with subtitles.
Never watched an English dub.
25% of it is English, the rest of it's dubbed. But it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I would compare it to many different things. Which could give away spoilers. So I'll say spoilers for 1899. Matrix, Dark City, Titanic. It's science fiction. It's good. I enjoyed it, but they canceled it. But you know what?
Does it end on like a cliffhanger?
It doesn't end on a cliffhanger. It ends on a, we're entering a new chapter.
Okay, that's kind of what that Archive 81 show ended that way too, and then that didn't get picked up.
Where I was like, if it was a movie, I would have been satisfied with the ending.
Okay.
It's sort of like, oh, was it all a dream kind of an ending, but it was still like an ending.
Yeah.
Where you got an answer. Mm-hmm. When you don't get an answer, that's when it's annoying. But you got an answer, and it was a fun little journey. Mm-hmm. And so I'm okay with it being canceled. Because to me it was a long movie.
1899.
Classic
I go
favorites
watch that.
That are in their subsequent seasons beyond the first one, which aren't new shows. Ghosts, Evil, and What We Do in the Shadows. Consistently funny. What We Do in the Shadows, I think, is one of the better comedies I've seen.
I need to catch up. I've only seen the movie, which I like the movie.
Ghosts is cute. It's not risky. It doesn't offend. Plays it safe. The American Ghost. The British Ghost is much better, but the American Ghost is pretty good. It's like I don't know, comedy on TV. I watched Loot with Maya Rudolph.
Is that a Quibi original? What the
It's
fuck
on
is
Apple.
Loot?
It
Oh.
fucking sucked. I watched. There's a show called Blockbuster.
Oh, I wasn't even... A show called Blockbuster premiering on Netflix, right?
Yes, about the last
I wasn't going to touch
Blockbuster.
that shit.
It fucking sucked so much. First episode out.
Yeah.
First episode out.
I'm doing the test kit, son. You sure?
You need to get out of your lane and into Diane Lane.
Blockbuster, I don't understand the nostalgia for Blockbuster. I mean, I guess that was like the chain and everybody went there. I always, even back when Blockbuster was around, I hated Blockbuster.
Their AI scoured the internet and found that there was some traction with like the last Blockbuster and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that this is video store nostalgia.
Yeah. It was the committee or an AI figured it out and said, let's make a show about the Blockbuster.
Does it take place at the last Blockbuster, or does it take place in the past when Blockbusters were...
It's the last Blockbuster, and it has a cast of wacky characters, and
I'm assuming that was canceled after the
I
first
think it might
season.
be. I don't even know. I just like, get it away from me. Like, I threw it down a mine shaft. Like comedy on TV, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
There's no jokes. It's everything played so safe. You know,
Whoops.
the days of The Office are long gone.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I watched the Quantum Leap reboot.
Oh,
Sucked so bad.
You're the only one.
Gone. Sucked.
It's not a. Does it have connections to the original show?
Yes.
So it is like kind of a continuation.
It's kind of a continuation,
Okay.
but the lady who played Elle's wife is in it from the original series. They talk about Sam Beckett. Blah 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 blah. Fuck it. I also did watch, for those of you.
Game.
bothering me about it,
Would you
I did
please
watch
stop
New World.
killing my level up sound
Oh
effect?
my god, this is important.
Please. I beg you. Well, no. I ask of you to stop doing that. Please.
Not that it was atrociously bad.
Also, why no
premise of the
defense
first one
points?
is
What the
so
fuck?
Fucking ludicrous and stupid. I can't even wrap my head around it. But I think the real problem with the new Trek and me is the writing of the characters. And I'll be real brief about this, is like the people that are in Starfleet have always been mature and had poise and were intelligent.
Not childish
and
idiots.
acted like adults. And in Brave New Worlds, they're all doing their thing, but it's
Oh,
always
I have
like,
not seen Brave New
they always
Worlds.
got to have a quip, or they act like teenagers running around and they laugh, and they say
Okay, it's
something
still the
funny.
same.
Because they don't want the audience to get bored.
They don't want and so I'm like, I can't deal with characters that act like teenagers when they should be professional level military personnel in a space exploration vessel.
I love this job.
They shouldn't laugh and make little stupid asides all the time, constantly. I'm like, I can't deal with this. I'm done. I can't take these characters seriously.
Make Star Trek boring again. Hashtag.
Make Star Trek boring again. Do it.
We dare you, cowards.
I have to say, I actually also kind of enjoy Star Trek. I watched
Tell me what you got, Jay.
the first 2.5 seasons of, what was it?
Pretty good.
3.5.
Movies are dreams.
Nah, 3. I watched the first 3.5 seasons of
best
The
Spielberg
Next
movie I've seen
Generation.
Forever?
But to be honest, I
Aside from,
stopped
of course, Ready
last
Player One.
March.
Visual.
Haven't watched
It's been
since
a while.
then, but
This is
I
like,
binged
you know,
the
premise,
episodes before,
coming of age movie
in like 2
Spielberg,
weeks, I guess, I
autobiographical
think.
about growing up and
Was good.
making amateur backyard movies, and you kind of have this vision of like, okay, super schmaltzy, super tug at your heartstrings, and it really isn't.
Woo!
It's kind of downplayed, and it's a little more straightforward than that, and surprisingly eccentric. Lots of weird little
By the way,
quirks that I'm guessing are autobiographical.
look at my
because
HP.
There's so many weird little details. Where you're like, why would that be in just a regular
Nice.
movie? So it has a little more personality than I was expecting, but it is very charming. I mean, you're seeing him. I believe that all the stuff with him making movies is actual movies that he made when he was a kid, little 8mm movies.
Yeah.
Like he did a war movie and stuff like that.
yeah.
Because it feels like this is almost his way of remaking his childhood amateur movies and making them better in a way. But it gets to a point where it's not really about him making movies anymore. It's about his family. And this, they're the Fablemans, but loosely based on him. Not the most flattering portrayal of his parents. It's basically about their marriage falling apart and them being miserable and awful to each other. But how that affects him and his desire to make movies. There's a whole portion where he's not making movies anymore. And he's kind of gets back into it when he gets a little bit older. But it's very anti-schmaltz in a way. You get to the end, spoilers, but not really, because it's not really related to the narrative. But he ends up out in Hollywood. He's in a position where he gets to meet, they say, you want to meet the greatest filmmaker that ever lived? He's right across the hallway. They take him across the hallway, and it's David Lynch. But he's not playing David Lynch, he's playing John Ford, so it has this like double meaning. But he's sitting in his office waiting for John Ford to show up, and they're panning around the room. There's all this schmaltzy music. You see all the posters for like Searchers and How Green Is My Valley, all these John Ford movies, and there's this like uplifting, dramatic music. And then David Lynch, as John Ford, walks in, and he did a full-blown, non-ironic record scratch. And it was great. You don't do a record scratch unless you're us, and you do it because it's so stupid that it's funny. But he did it, and it works. And John Ford comes in, and he's got like lipstick all over his face, because he's been probably fooling around with young actresses that he's taken advantage of. And so it becomes this like complete anti-schmaltz, like whimsical view of Hollywood. So it's the whole movie is like that too, where it's a lot more kind of dark and downbeat than you would expect, without dwelling on it. It's not a depressing movie.
Now remember this. When the horizon's at the bottom, it's interesting. When the horizon's at the top, it's interesting. When the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit.
It's very good, and the performances by his parents, it's Paul Dano and Michelle Williams. Both characters are like in the hands of a lesser filmmaker,
extreme's good,
lesser,
average,
lesser performances,
or rather,
like over the top.
Sure.
She's
I understand.
Like, quirky, and they play it great. So surprisingly good movie. I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Did you watch The Midnight Club?
I didn't. I watched the first episode, and I was going to get around to more. It seemed like, based on the first episode, that it was aimed at maybe a younger audience. I know it's based on books that are like YA books.
Yeah, and it's interesting. After Midnight Mass, it was so heavy and amazing.
Great, yeah.
I really liked it, and it was very different from his other stuff. And you said it seemed like a YA thing, and that's because all the kids are teens in it. And it's nothing like super like crazy or spooky, but good characters. And I think like had it gone on to season 2 or 3, it would have progressed their storylines. I understand why they didn't want to pursue it. I have imagine their Netflix robots.
All their decisions are based on analytics.
People
and
like
AI.
you who gave it one
High quality cane with average
I didn't say it was
power.
I'll get to it eventually, but
sure. But they know that
Canes are those double-sided thingies, right? Oh yeah, yes, they are. Those are. They're usually for boosting stuff, I think.
But you have it has a little like demographic gray area problem.
Like pretty much every cane.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, pretty much every single cane has a elemental boost to something, like either fire, ice, or thunder.
And it's also, I was kind of confused.
I don't remember if there's one for light. I doubt that there is one for dark.
Kind of an anthology thing.
But
tell stories. But not a full anthology, but we get little glimpses of the stories they're telling.
Yeah.
So it's like, is the show
This one hasn't had. This one doesn't have that though.
Not really. It's.
But it has more. Oh wait, it has more ATP than
It's like a hospice house.
Yeah.
Oh, it has more ATP than my stick.
And it's them in the
because it's a, I think, second stage item. Can't imagine that a
think they were
first
saying
stage
he
item
jump
needs
scares.
150 MST.
So he intentionally added like 58 jump scares in the first episode or something like that. First couple episodes as a way of like
90. Ooh.
like making some kind of record of the most jump scares in this amount of time, just to kind of like fuck with them. But my last thing that I'll mention that I'm currently watching, and I don't know why, I just said I'm just gonna watch the first episode of this. It's AMC original. I think it's over. I think it went 2 seasons. It's called Kevin Can Fuck Himself. You've probably never heard of it.
I've never even heard of it.
Hey, where's our breakfast? You're not supposed to have favorites.
Kevin's my husband.
It's oddly fascinating. You would find it fascinating.
Okay.
You turn it on, and it's a sitcom. And the guy who plays Kevin, an actor named Eric Peterson, he is the hammiest, think like Ralph Cramden, like on steroids.
Okay.
He plays the best, like, hammed up sitcom guy.
Mm-hmm.
But his wife, her character's name's Allison, and their set is the All in the Family set.
Okay.
It's identical. It's amazing. But when they cut to her and her storyline, it's very serious, and there's like drugs, and she wants to kill him, and it's all like darkly and moodily lit.
Oh, you're selling me on this.
And then when it cuts back to him, it's corny sitcom with laugh track.
But I'm needed elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
And it's never explained why the format is like this. She's not crazy.
Yeah.
It's just that's how the show is.
Okay.
And I could just imagine showing this to like grandma or your parents or whatever, and just, what? Because it starts off with the sitcom, and the sitcom is just like, it's like perfectly done. And then it just hard cuts, and sometimes it's in the same like shot where she'll get hit by something, and then it'll jump from sitcom to like dark AMC drama. Back and forth.
That sounds good.
And then the plot, he has his wacky like sitcom premises where he's like, he's doing some kind of like crazy scheme, but he always wins, and she hates him because he's obnoxious. He belittles her. He's awful. He's selfish, and she wants to kill him.
I kind of get, like, we're in the context of a sitcom. This stuff is quirky and funny, but when you look at it in reality,
in her life and her reflection of it,
who's responsible for this nonsense?
I
want to watch this now.
Watch it. It's crazy, and I think this is the final season 2. I think it was just out recently, in the last couple of years. I think it's over. I'm still finishing. I'm like episode 3 or 4, season 2. But you'd appreciate it from a technical perspective, because sometimes the exact same set and the exact same scene, how they're lit and shot, is obviously dramatically different, and how much the lighting set up for the sitcom scene, the exposure, the colors, versus the depth of field, the way that's shot, the dingy, desaturated look of the exact same set and scene from one shot to the next is just dramatic, and it's just from a filmmaker's perspective.
This sounds great.
Watch the first episode. You'll get the gist from the first episode, and you can decide if you want to continue on with it or not.
Fantastic.
Well, my last movie, my favorite movie of last year.
What a great way to end our show, everybody.
Yeah, and this may not be a
this
surprise.
episode, not the show. For all of you who thought that the last half of the bag was the last one ever, and only 4 people cared.
Yeah, that's weird that people thought the last episode was like the last episode.
It kind of felt like it.
I guess. Don't worry, when we're done, there's not going to be a last episode. It's just going to stop. There just won't be any more. And then you'll have to figure out what to do with the rest of your life.
Oh, no.
Anyways, what was your favorite movie of 2022?
This will probably be no surprise to people that have seen it.
Don't
It's
say Dune.
Bones and All. No, Dune was like the year before that. But Timothy Chalamet connection.
What do
He's
you
in
know?
both. Bones and All. Do you know what this movie's about?
Buffalo Wild Wings?
Try that.
and All, a coming of age road trip, young lover romance cannibal film.
I knew.
Is that given away in the trailer? I never
Yes,
saw the trailer.
It does, and that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't in the mood.
It's a hard movie to recommend because it's very like. It's directed by Luca Guadagnino.
When I saw an Italian name, I knew it was about cannibals.
Well, he's most famous, I think, for doing Call Me By Your Name. Big Academy Award-winning
vampires,
movie.
blood.
No, not vampires. But he did...
Zombies?
No, they're just cannibals. They're just
Stop
normal people
it.
that happen to be cannibals.
Call Me By Your Name, though.
Call Me By Your Name. That's
that's the love movie with the cannibal.
That's the movie that ironically has a real life cannibal in it. But no, he got famous for that, and I guess he's kind of used that clout.
Oh, I was thinking of Let the Right One In.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Not Call Me By Your Name,
yeah,
Let the Right One In.
Let the Right One In is a vampire movie.
That's what I confused it with. So I'm not demented yet. I'm on the way, but I'm not quite there yet.
Okay. But
okay.
Seems to have taken whatever clout he had from that movie, Call Me By Your Name.
That's what all of them say.
It won some, I think, and use that to just make really understated, weird, fucked up movies. Because he did the Suspiria remake, which I love that movie. I like it more than the original Suspiria. And now he's made this mostly kind of warm and sweet love story where the two people just happen to also be cannibals. And it doesn't shy away from the cannibal angle, which is why it's hard to recommend because it's legitimately grotesque in parts. But it somehow pulls off being violence and gross, but never taking you out of liking these characters. Because it's very, it's focused on them. There's a slight supernatural angle where cannibals can like just sense other cannibals, which is sort of odd. That's the only kind of like vaguely supernatural thing. So this girl goes off on the road. Her dad basically is like, I can't deal with the cannibalism shit. I'm out of here, and abandons her. So she kind of goes off on the road, meets up with Timothée Chalamet. Oh, you're also a cannibal. They fall in love.
They meet Mark Rylance.
Who's great in the movie. That's actually the first one she meets is him, and he seems like, can you trust him? He's kind of creepy, but maybe he's just like dim-witted. It's hard to tell, and that becomes a part of the movie too. That's
what
the closest.
Say about me.
That's true. Are you also a cannibal?
No.
Oh, okay.
I am dim-witted and creepy.
So yeah, no, but it's just told in this very like gentle way. It's never trying to be a horror movie. So it's like, yeah, I wasn't sure. Like,
very creepy.
This is a horror movie, not really, but just yeah, it all takes place in the Midwest. They're traveling across country. Beautiful, just like stark Midwest nothing shots, and just these two people, two outsiders, finding each other that also happen to be cannibals. Great performances. The whole time I was watching, I thought the lead actress was the little girl from Dr. Sleep. Speaking of Mike Flanagan, because she was good in Dr. Sleep, and I was like, oh, it's a few years now. She's a little bit older, taking on a more mature role. The whole time I thought it was her, and then it isn't her. It's the lead actress from that Escape Room movie. But no, Bones and All, if you can handle the grotesque aspects of the movie, it does a great job of portraying that stuff very matter-of-factly, but not in a like we're trying to be shocking or gross. Just like this is the world of this movie. It's interesting. It's a very unique tone. I don't know what else to compare it to.
I know what to compare it to. Romeo and Julie 8.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You did it.
That's why I get paid the big bucks. So what's up next for us, Jay?
Death?
I could be doing a small voice cameo in an upcoming film. But it's in the early negotiations phase. My lawyers are talking to their lawyers, and their agents are talking to their lawyers' agents. But you know, it's directed by.
Doesn't the magic go faster after a certain while? I'm pretty sure they, characters or whatever, I'm pretty sure the spells get casted faster at higher levels. Or wasn't that items that do that? Like later you can basically rapid fire, and it's not like this where you have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds before the second cast comes out.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that is a thing. Why did I not get damaged?
And we're back.
What happened?
Well, Jack, we're here today with another...
Eine Leiche.
Oh, welcome! I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night. And I've got a debate with 33UC. 33UC comes on almost every week into the chat and demands to be let in. And a couple years ago, I made a New Year's resolution to not let him come in again that year. Well, so it's been a recurring thing where he only gets to come in once a year. That's it, once a year. And he's supposed to have something new. And he says he has something new. He has agreed to come here. He was excited. And just a little bit ago, I was talking to him, I think yesterday. I said, so I'd asked him about today, and he said, pencil me in. And he called me a pencil neck. I said, well, you're already penciled in. I'm asking if I can use a Sharpie. He said, okay. I said, yes, Sharpie? 8 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday? Okay, set it up, he says. I said, okay, get your best ready. He says, will do, Snapperhead. Then yesterday I go, ready for tomorrow? Get your evidence ready. If you repeat the same old tripe, you're done. And then I sent him a link to the video. I said, get ready. He said, snipers only need one shot. I said, oh, that's off topic. You're a derper, not a sniper. Earlier today, I was saying, are you ready? Are you getting cold feet? Sent him the link. I said, I'm going live with or without you. Will you let it slip? So look, 33. If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you wanted in one moment, one live stream, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty. His knees are weak. His arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. It's his mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface, he doesn't look calm and
Mom's spaghetti.
That's all you get from that. Oh! Oh, he showed up! He showed up!
Toon, are you there?
I am!
Okay, hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. So the question is, will he come on camera like he said, I mean, he should. Really? Shouldn't he? Does everybody want to come on camera? Let's do a poll. Should 33 come on camera? So there we go. Asking. Stringer News 1 already chimed in, said 33 on camera or give him the boot.
I'm not sure anymore if
that's if he wants to come on.
If the cars actually get better just by upgrading them. But I do remember that definitely like Staff of Laconium and stuff.
There's a couple things he needs,
or rather the Fire Staff of Agni. I'm like 90% sure Fire Staff of Agni turns Foye basically into a sniper rifle. I'm like 90% sure of that. And the same with Ice Staff Dagon. Dagon?
Or maybe he's a Kiwi.
For the ice version. But I haven't loaded yet.
So today is the day that you're going to present evidence. But are you going to go on camera?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, well, fortunately, I have prepared for you an avatar that looks, from what I'm told, exactly like you. So there you go. So I'll use that. All right, so now it's your chance to provide evidence. You said you did. You said you had to do stuff, and you said a sniper only needs one shot. So this is your one shot. And there you have it, folks. All the flat Earth evidence that 33 has, he has just presented. Thank you very much for that. It is, without a doubt, the most compelling argument that you've ever made.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, but I still have to say that was the best presentation you've ever given. All right. Well, this is your one shot. Are you gonna let it slip?
No. Question for you. Did you delete that #1 video of mine on your channel? Whatever happened to that?
Oh my gosh. So what happened is I got a YouTube community strike for your video. And I told you this already. I didn't tell... You are literally the only person I told on the globe that happened.
You didn't clarify that. You didn't clarify what exactly happened. What transpired that they took down?
I got a YouTube community guidelines strike on the video. When they do that, they do not tell you why, and they don't even let you go download the video that you put up there to go and review it to see what was in it. And I did not have a copy of it already, so I can't even go through it to find out what they might have not liked.
Wow. Do you know Conspiracy Music Guru?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Do you ever play any of his content for your listeners?
Why would I do that? He's an idiot.
Why is he an idiot?
I don't know why he's an idiot. I just know that he is an idiot.
Why do you call him an idiot?
Maybe he was dropped on his head as an egg.
Why do you call him an idiot?
Because he's factually an idiot.
Why? What's so stupid about him?
Everything.
Like?
Absolutely.
Now's your chance.
Everything he says.
I've waited a year to get on here, and this is the answers I'm getting because he is, just because he is.
Yeah,
Tell us why.
This is you're missing this.
Articulate why he's an idiot. Tell us.
This is your chance.
McToon, I'm asking you a question.
To present evidence for the shape of the Earth.
I'm asking you a question. Now answer it.
Because
Stop
all he does...
everything I ask you. Literally a simple question I asked you, you can't even answer.
This is your chance to present evidence. Immediately, you avoid giving evidence. And so, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm going to ask you again, McToon. Why is Music Guru an idiot?
This is the epitome, the absolute peak. The peak of the evidence that flat earthers have. Exactly none. So, this This is your chance. This is your chance to present evidence for the shape of the Earth. Your chance to present evidence for the shape of the Earth. Go ahead. Your one time this year, unless you decide to come on camera.
No, this isn't my evidence, but I just want to...
I know you don't have any evidence. That's why it's just a farce. All right, go ahead.
But I just want to say this yet again for any of your new listeners out there. Nicktoon loves to talk about the shape of the Earth. He loves to talk about going to the moon. He loves to talk about what we did up on the moon and all the stuff that we should be so proud of and all the people that we should look up to. But he forgets to tell everyone, oh, whoops. We said people on the moon. That means that theory of relativity goes out the window. It goes right out the window, dude. As soon as you say that we landed on the moon and we can look back at the moon, that means somebody's upside down to somebody else. Period. Bottom line.
Do you think... Oh, hold on a second. Do you think that the theory of relativity... Hold on a second.
Get your little blow bottle out to the people and show the new listeners.
Just a second. All right. I have to... They can't hear you. Just for a second. I just need an answer. Do you actually think that the theory of relativity... It's ridiculous even saying it. Do you actually think that the theory of relativity is that somebody might be upside down relative to somebody else? Okay, hold on.
What?
All right, go. Give us your answer.
Yes, that's the shit you guys say. That's the shit you idiots say. That's the shit you idiots say. No, it's all relative. How is it relative?
That's not the theory of relativity, you moron.
That's the shit you guys say when we ask you this. This is what you
I
say.
can't believe how stupid you are.
Get from you, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh, you're so stupid. You are so stupid.
This is the stuff you tell
Oh
people.
my gosh, you're dumb.
This is what you tell people, my friend.
It's not the theory of relativity.
But getting
how
back,
dumb. Oh, how dumb can you be?
getting back to what I asked you before. Why is Conspiracy Music Guru?
Because he's wrong on everything he says.
Excuse me?
He's wrong on everything he says.
Why?
We don't know why. Maybe he likes being wrong.
Do you ever play any of his content?
No, I would not, and I would not torture them by playing his content.
Would you mind bringing up some of his material?
I will definitely not bring up any of his material because I don't want to get a copyright strike.
That's baloney. You're not going to get a copyright strike.
Of course I will. He has put his music in the Content ID library on YouTube. So if I play any of his music, then I'll get a copyright strike.
That's baloney.
All right, I don't care. Why would I play it? This is your chance to provide evidence. This is your chance to provide evidence for the shape of the Earth. And I see that you're running from it because you have none. That's why you won't do it. Thank you for that.
Okay, but dude, how far away is the sun?
This is your chance to present evidence. So present the evidence.
This is the evidence I'm putting forward. How far is the sun, McDoon?
Here's what you do. You say, hold on. Here's what you do. You say, Alexa, how far is the sun? 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 That's what you do, 33. If you don't know, then you look it up.
I'm asking you, how far away is the sun?
150 million kilometers.
Who measured that and how?
Many people have measured it, but this is your chance.
Who measured it?
Your chance.
How did they measure it?
Your chance to present the evidence for Flat Earth.
Measured that. How
All right.
did they measure it?
Stringer News 1 says his one shot is a dud. Amazing.
You never answer that question.
I certainly have. I have on my website. You can peruse. Just a second. You can peruse at your own leisure on my website mctoon.net/sun. has several different ways that different people at different times have measured the distance to the sun. So you can do that at your own leisure, but this topic of today's video is you presenting evidence. This is your chance to provide the evidence that the Earth is flat. That's your chance. If you can't do it, I understand. Just wave that white flag by refusing to do it and say there is no evidence for flat Earth. There is no evidence for flat Earth. There is no evidence for flat Earth. That's why you won't present any. 33, there is no evidence for flat Earth. That's why you won't present any. There is no evidence for flat Earth, because that's why you refuse to present any.
What?
Has nothing to do with mine. I don't even need to use NASA to measure the shape of the Earth. But that's the chance. You are deflecting. You are deflecting. They can't hear you for a second. Just shh, shh, shh. They can't hear you. 33. Shh, 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 shh. 33. They can't hear you. Okay. See, I can't hear you. They can't hear you. You are deflecting from presenting evidence for the shape of the Earth because you don't have any. Every time you refuse to present evidence for the shape of the Earth that you think that the Earth is, it's because you know there is none. It is an admission every single time that I ask you to present evidence for the shape of the Earth and you refuse to. That's you saying the Earth is a globe every time. Okay? Now, all right, they can hear you again, but I'm going to...
Nicktoon, you gotta stop muting me, man. You're just like your cousin the worm. When we smacking around, me and Russian bitch.
Cretan Ball says, petition to make the new rule once per decade.
Getting old. I mean, you can't answer basic questions.
M. Shedler 49 says 33 is a 0-0.
Yeah.
Snipey McSendit says 33 missed his cold bore shot. He certainly did. He wasted.
Did you go away? You're looking a little bit less pale.
It's because I'm laughing so hard at you. I think I might be a little flushed.
Maybe that's what you need, a little humor in your life.
So anyway, Snipey McSendit says that you missed your cold bore shot. Do you know what a cold bore shot is there, Mr. Sniper?
Nicktoon, how many engines are on that new rocket that
I'll take that as a no.
has going up? Can you answer that question?
It has 33. It has 33 rockets.
Wow. That's a great mason jar that you're drinking out of. For you folks at home that don't know.
I don't know.
He's mocking the masons
that's a half gallon.
that are responsible for all these garbage. 33
Is this 33? This isn't big enough, 33. Just a second. Just a second. Just hold on a second. I need the bigger mason. This is the gallon mason jar. Hold on.
Wow.
And notice. No, I know. You like my big bulb.
That's huge, man. You got one ball though.
No, I got two. Hold on. I got another one right here. I got that one. I got this one here. See this? Hold on there. Well, I mean, one's bigger than the other. I mean, that might be a personal problem, but I got two of them. So, all right. All right. So,
how about Scott Kelly's wife?
Oh my gosh, this is your chance. This is your chance to present evidence for the shape of the Earth.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that.
Oh,
we're going to talk about the frauds.
All right, King Cruz says, boot him. Das Boot.
Boot. Not boot.
It has
Das Boot.
Nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
The boat.
Right, so I have a poll. Let's see. Hold on. Just a second. Hold on a second. 33. Shh. 33. Shh. Be the wolf. Be the wolf. Closed mouth. Open ears. That's you. Be the wolf. 33. Okay.
That's cute stuff you're doing there.
Okay. So what was I forgot. Oh, the poll, the poll. So should 33 come on camera? Yes, 78%, no 21%. So there you go. I mean, it might be, do you think it might be better or worse than the picture I already have here? That's a good poll. I'll do that.
Answer this question. If you answer anything
No.
tonight, answer this if you answer anything.
I'm already not gonna answer.
You're not gonna answer?
Yeah, I'm already feeling it.
Well, you're a scumbag.
Yes, you are indeed. For sure, you are.
Pure trash. You are.
All right. So this is your chance. And again, I said it earlier. Every time you refuse to present evidence for the Earth being flat, you are admitting that the Earth is a globe. So present your evidence that the Earth is flat.
Oh God.
Sorry, I was reading something.
Shit.
What'd you ask me?
Present your evidence that the Earth is flat.
I just drooled all over myself.
And you refuse, thereby admitting that the Earth is a globe. Thank you for that. Every time you come on here, you destroy Flat Earth more and more. I love it, 33. Thank you so much. So,
Mattoon, you make up garbage, and then you want people to prove that it's not real.
No, I just want you to present evidence for the shape of the Earth that you think
You're
it is.
living in a fantasy world,
Go ahead.
my man.
Go ahead.
You can't even pull up
do you
one
have
photograph.
do you have it? Do you have? This is your chance. This is your chance. Your chance. This is your chance. And like I said earlier, every time that I ask for you to present evidence,
I don't really understand how MST works.
to do it,
I just got 3 MST, but nothing happens.
Thank you for admitting the Earth is a globe.
It's still 43.
You have admitted that the Earth is a globe.
Weird.
What you do every time.
I know that MST does not influence healing.
Alright.
Like Resta is doesn't have a scaling of any stats.
Positive evidence.
The only way you can buff Resta is
Earthrise is
with level ups, like level ups of the heal of Resta. And I think there is a few items that buff it, but
it's not.
Not 100% sure about that.
Who is that? Dresdick? Is that Dresdick talking?
No, that was Earthrise.
Earthrise?
So remember, every time you refuse to present evidence for the Earth being flat, it is admitting that the Earth is a globe.
Never comes on the show, never offers anything, never offers any proof. Just sits in the chat box and cheerleads for you with his pom-poms.
Yeah. Have you seen his pom-poms? They're purple and glittery. They're fabulous.
Pathetic, really.
They're
Pathetic how
fabulous.
many people fuck with you, man. You're incredible,
Are
really.
you jealous?
Pathetic and incredible, all the same.
It's okay. You can be jealous. Alright.
Nice.
So, 33 has no evidence. That's right. Exactly 0.
Do you remember when you were trying to provide evidence to Russian Biggs and you were an idiot? And you were trying to say
you just deflected.
Still 43.
You just admitted again that the Earth is a globe.
Both sides of the ball.
How many times are you going to admit that the Earth is a globe today?
Do you recall that? Do you recall trying to tell Russian Biggs it's dark on both sides of the ball at the same time?
No, I never said that.
You never said that?
On both sides of the ball at the same time.
That's
hilarious.
Every week. What do you keep deleting it on me?
So here's what since you've refused to do
You're an
what
idiot,
you said
man.
you're gonna do, we're gonna change it up a little bit, and so I can't hear you right now. They can't hear you. Here's what's gonna happen. I think it's important for people to really get a good understanding of what I'm about to do. So normally 33, normally. I don't let people say too much rough stuff to my guests. I like to be nice, and I don't like to convey rude messages. But since you refused to do what you said you're going to do, I'm going to loosen that quite a bit. So people, if you have a message for 33, Now this will go until he decides to present evidence, and so maybe he'll change his mind and actually do what he said he's going to do and have some integrity. But until he decides to have some integrity, if you guys have
MST has to do something, right? It used to deal 41 damage.
or super chats,
So at some point,
some words I won't say. I might edit
something happened.
some of the words, but
They now had a level up,
be creative. Double entendres are encouraged.
and I equipped well, basically I equipped 6 more MST, and nothing
As long as
changed.
you're not presenting evidence, I'm not gonna engage with you, 33. This is your one chance. And so far you've let it
What is
slip.
going on?
As
Like, this is the same. This also dealt 41 at the beginning of Caves. I'm pretty sure it dealt 41.
On flat Earth, the sundial would always be in sunlight because the sun could never set. 33, can you explain how a digital sundial works? There you go, people. That is all the limit of his understanding. Abellis says, 33, MC June asked you one question. Why are you scared to answer it?
I don't know why I got scared.
Silence again. All right. They can hear you if you talk. But anyway, Matt Patak says, 33, why does air pressure decrease with altitude? That's right. Earth is a globe. Pronon 1990 says 33 equals no evidence and will never learn. 33 response to that is, there you go. All right. Irish Brazil says 33, Jesus loves you. I said but he may do it unwillingly.
Does MST actually... No, it can't be that MST gives me nothing but mana or TP. MST does deal the damage.
Basil Vino
But how?
says 33 is
The maths behind that have to be a little bit weird, I guess.
They can hear you if you respond. 33.
Oh yeah, I added a lot more MST because I changed the weapon.
Vid's name has to do with Russia. I want to know.
So it's probably that, like...
Vid's name have to do with Russia?
Yeah, there is resistance.
It is your favorite.
And I need probably like 5.
We know you dream.
Wait, more. I got about 20 MST since I began, but only got 2 damage. So around 10 or 1 more damage, I guess.
If 33 enjoyed woodworking class in school, at least he could talk with the hammers.
Me too, and I have to interject here.
But I also know that upgrading the skill itself, that makes a huge difference. Like, level upgrades are mega huge.
Wasn't you with some weird sexual allegations not that long ago against you?
No, that was not. So I don't know why you would think something like that, but it certainly was not something that was accused of you. So, but weird that you brought it up. But yep. Cool. So King Crew says, tell 33 to go fork himself with a cactus. So 33, go fork yourself with a cactus. From King Crew. Delivered by me. Sean Carroll says, I have a perfect no need for sanitized language message. 33, man up or shut up.
Me too.
He shut up. There it is. You have nothing. We know you have nothing. You are a useless.
I gotta go to the toilet, bathroom, whatever you want to call it. I'll be back in.
So all right.
Well,
we've got
few minutes.
Steve Wilson
Bye bye.
says S33.
go back.
Or does it? And is it really bliss like they say? But is it really bliss like they say?
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Folks.
That's right. 33. Yep. All right.
Go back to Earth.
All right. We've got Andrew L says positive claim for flat Earth one time, just one time. You have positive evidence for flat Earth.
100% fact. NASA is a horse shit organization. You can't listen to one thing that they tell you.
That's not actually evidence for flat Earth. It has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with anything at all. In fact, the Earth was figured out to be a sphere long before NASA, and the existence or non-existence of NASA doesn't change the shape of the Earth. All right. Sermian says 33 is a pant load. Marcus Dresden says 33 sucks, with lots of stars around it. There it is. 33 sucks. David Lee says this jackass can't top.
Pretty sure the worm without Rafoye is pretty obnoxious.
The furball.
Pretty shitty to play again. Pretty shitty to try and kill. I really don't want to do this without.
Can you, 33, can you, from Mr. Lonely, can you define...
without AoE, but I'm pretty sure I have to.
Define relativity. No. Oh my god. Alright. Stringer News 1 says 33 is a 33 is a poopy pants. 33, you are a poopy pants, says Stringer News 1. Virillion says 33 is too scared to talk. Yep. All right, let's see. Industrial Nerd says, if MC Toon invites me to join, I don't want people to get sick of me. Zumi says, no, Jesus doesn't love him, except the one in prison. He loves him all night long. Yeah, 33, when you go back to prison, Jesus will love you a long time. When you're back in prison. Now, how long were you in prison the first time? How long were you in prison? Sorry, how long were you in prison the first time? You didn't answer. All right. Industrial Nerd says, I'll argue local sun with you. This is your opportunity to present evidence for flat Earth, and that's not evidence for flat Earth. So, all right, no, this is your chance, and so far you're letting it slip, which I understand because you have to admit that the Earth is a globe. So, all right, we've got Industrial Nerd. We need to let 33 shine the spotlight on his idiocy. Tim Pryor had a retracted message. 33's well, I tried, says 33's evidence list is as long as Little Jimmy. Or do you mean Micro 33? King Cruz says tell 33 there's a village looking for him. Hey, 33, there's a village looking for you. You're their king. Yep. He's playing into, oh my gosh, into his microphone. He's playing Russian vids. When he's talking with me. Oh my gosh, he can't even pipe it through. Alright. Industrial Nerd says, does 33 know about the rocks? You mean the technology rocks? I don't know if he knows about the technology rocks. When he gets back to it. Craig Connor says, ask him why we have different seasons on different hemispheres. That's a good idea. I got a little. Alright. So Snipey McSendit says, slap, keep the sniper name out of your mouth. That's right, 33. Keep the sniper name out of your mouth. You're no sniper. Not even close. Snipers, when they shoot long distance, take into account the rotation of the Earth. Did you know that? I'm sure you have a bucket of nuh-uh. Flat Earth Math says Micktoon is my favorite Irishman. Full stop. Flat Earth Math. Charles. my Irish name is Seamus O'Toole. Not Micktoon. That's my Scottish name. What's my Welsh? Do the Welsh have something?
Me too.
Oh, you're back. All right. Oh my gosh, you can't stop. Oh, that's a good question. All right. 33. 33. I have a question for you, 33. You need to listen. 33. 33. Oh my gosh. He's playing this old video from Russian vids. He doesn't have evidence for flat Earth, so he has to deflect and admit the Earth isn't roll. Every time. You donkey, does he fill his bucket of nuh-uhs from the waters of Lake Titicaca? I don't know if Lake Titicaca has a whole bunch of nuh-uhs. So, oh my gosh, 33. Come on, get back here. He just loops it. All right. No, nobody's listening to that. All right, 33. This is your chance. Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? And so far, you have let it slip. You have let it slip. Hey, the unit for 33 is millimeters. Say no more. All right. Chronon 1990 says 33. Here's a question for you. Ready? 33? 33. Shh, listen. Shh. 33. 33. Shh. Listen. 33. Listen. Shh. 33. Listen. 33. 33. Are you and Lemon Bird a married couple? And hey, 33. Oh my gosh. 33. Oh my gosh. How useless of a human can he be? Like, he begs and begs and begs to come on. Come on. Because he's going to show new stuff. New evidence for flat Earth. And he never does. He just comes on so that we can mock him. Your purpose in life, 33, is to be the target of mockery and ridicule. And you deserve it, 33. You really do. Not a lot of people deserve it more than you, but you definitely deserve it. So, all right. Are you, 33, are you a married couple with Lemon Bird? And did Alex Jones in the wedding? Nothing? No? All right. Glover Mom says, this confirms 33 is a child who can't. Absolutely. All right. The Welsh have sheep. Barry the Wall says 33 is 33 the highest he can count. That's a lot of toes. No, he can count to 20 if he takes off his shoes and socks. And he can count, and if he takes off his pants, he can still just count to 20. Well, I tried, since 33 has 33 reasons why women won't talk to him. I can't come up with a 666 of them, but it starts with 33 nanometers he has below. Cheryl told me all about it. Did Cheryl, very interesting. So, all right, 33, this is your chance. This is your shot. Will you do it, or will you capture it, or just let it slip?
Am I muted?
No, they can hear you. They're about to hear you let it slip.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. He can't stop. The only thing he can do. So, hey, ooh, Bendy is wondering. Wants to know Russian. 33. Bendy is wondering, is Russian vids? Hold on, you ready? Are you ready? He's wondering. Bendy is asking. Ready? Shh. He's asking, is Russian vids circumcised?
You guys are fucked up, man. You guys are sick, man. You guys are sick.
You're
sick
deflecting.
people.
You're deflecting.
Okay.
Do you know French? Do you know French? I don't know. Industrial Nerd's wondering, dude. Do you know French? Tell him.
What's wrong with you?
So here's you have a chance. It's you can show your evidence as you promised, or we'll just go with the tiny wee wee jokes, I guess. All right. Methinks he doth protest too much. Absolutely. Joe Whip says he wants to come on here because no one in real life will talk to him. That's absolutely the case. We know that in real life you must have a pretty pathetic time. Nobody will talk to you. Nobody will interact with you. They are all sick of your crap. And your family won't talk to you anymore, 33. I know that. And the definition of incel is you. All right. Let's see. Lael says, ask 33 if there are any non-physical objects here on Earth that can produce light. So are there any non-physical objects on Earth that can produce light? See, how do you make 33 shut up? You ask him a question. He can't answer. He can't answer. He never can. Hey, what shape's the Earth, 33?
Son.
All he can do is play that. All right. NA for $6.66 says Gary Wybenga has a crush on 33. I wonder if Gary named one of his cows 33. How about the FE claim that the moon is a light source? How do the craters have shadows then? They never answer that. They're pretty bad at that. Well, I tried says, well, I bet 33 is just like Santos with the cows and pigs on the farm. Could be. Tim Pryor says, the 24-hour Flat Earth Discord will talk to him. Oh, I just came from there. It was fun. They are a mess in there. They certainly are. They do not like letting people have conversations on there. The dog pile is crazy. Stringer News 1 says even 33's right hand wants nothing to do with him.
Was Buzz Aldrin a Freemason? Yes or no?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yes or no, McToon?
It's not shape. It's not evidence for the shape of the Earth.
McToon, we'll get there. Stop avoiding these questions.
All right. This is your chance to provide evidence or admit the Earth is a globe.
These are yes or no questions, McToon. McToon, do you want to also tell the audience that you used to tell everyone?
You can see the effects of the curve from the beach.
No. You used to say you could see the curve, but the effects are just as bad, so we can start there. So describe the effects of the curve from the beach.
This is your chance to provide positive evidence for the shape of the... Oh my gosh, again. He just again admitted that the Earth is a globe. That's all he does. Well, I tried says no sheep, because it's surely an upgrade from pigs, because Santos is definitely worse than 33. That's a good question. Is 33 worse? Who's worse? And Santos wins this poll a lot. 33 or Santos? There it is. Who is worse? Goes. Poll is up, people. Get your votes in. Vote early. Vote often. So we've got Andrew L. says, does 33 have anything that isn't a baseless conspiracy theory? No. That is his entire life. His entire life is consumed with nonsense conspiracy BS. That's it. Lael says the flirts will always run away from my previous question. A non-physical thing that outputs light. Yeah, they if they're like the sun isn't physical, well, what non-physical thing outputs light? That's a great question. Jolene says Jesus loves 33. Everyone else thinks he is a Hol. H-O-L. I don't know if that got clipped or if that's the word you meant to write. So 33. You might be winning the only popularity contest you could ever win. I'm just saying, this will be the first time that you receive a W instead of an L, if it goes that way. PhD Tony says the effect of the curve at the beach is to make flat earthers look like idiots. There's also a property of earthworms. That's also a property of earthworms and lichen deposits. No, okay. Say that again. You're muted. Go ahead. Say it again.
Some simple questions. You begged me for weeks to come back on. Weeks.
No, 33. You begged all year long to come on, and once I get around to January, it's your only shot. This is your look. If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip?
I have the text to prove it. I have the Twitter text to prove it.
33. There's vomit. There's vomit on your sweater. It's your mom's spaghetti. Jolene meant a-hole. Yes. That's it. All right, 33. Are you ready? Are you ready for the results of the one popularity contest that you could ever win? Are you ready?
Go for it. Go for it, McToon.
Who is worse, Santos or 33? Santos is worse with 81%.
Wow.
So there it is. Your only W your first W ever. I'm glad I could deliver that to you. Don't get used to it.
I think we should have a vote. I think they should text 33 if I'm top 5 guests on the channel, or type 1 if I'm not.
Here, I'll do this. I'll do a poll. Right? Is 33 top 5 guest?
Of course I am. Man, who else is giving you a smackdown besides Russian Vids better than me? Who else is
nobody ever?
More.
Nobody
who
ever?
Who else has held you to standard of truth like I have?
Listen, Stuart Christmas, who is Lloyd's brother, Lloyd Christmas's brother, he says, at the risk of doxing myself, I just emailed you a selfie with my condo tower block number. Well, Stuart, I'll have a look.
I got a feeling that the vote's going to be in my favor heavily.
Oh,
heavily.
Sure. Tim Pryor says, I tried to join. It says I'm in the hold room. Try to join what? Try to join the 24/7 server? Yeah, they don't let people just come in there. They want to make sure that they, because they're going to boot you quick.
Will you go on the record to state that I definitely had the most views ever on your channel for a single guest?
No, you definitely did not.
You won't admit that?
You definitely did not.
Yeah, drown yourself in that mason glass line like that.
You definitely did not. Joe Whip says 33 had 1 kill shot and took himself out. That 33, you understand that the real flat earthers, there aren't any, but they accuse you of being a pope. They're like, Toon paid 33 to come on and make Flat Earthers look stupid. That's what people say about you. That's how bad you are at Flat Earthing.
Mom is Mrs. Moon.
Mark
Neil
Sargent.
Armstrong,
Oh my
backwards.
gosh.
Neil.
Same stuff. All right. The poll. Oh dear, 33. The poll is not looking good for you. I'm thinking it's going back to your long series of L's that you've got. So, all right. Are you ready? 33. I'm going to end the poll. And the results are in. 33. Is 33 a top 5 guess? No, 91%.
Wow.
91% say no.
I'll take 3%.
Timbo Turtle says, let 33 know that his zero evidence is worse than the zero evidence others have presented. There you go.
Tell Terrible Tim to show up and get smacked around the channel if he has any.
You have nothing, 33. You are as useful as a football bat.
Where's your fat worm cousin?
You are as useful as a football bat, 33. All right, let's see. Andrew Findley says top left, maybe. Top 5, no. Hey, who would? That's a good one. All right. Do you think anybody would vote for you for top left? For top left. Yeah. It's a competition. There it is. Would you back 33 UC for top left? There's a competition you could win. That could be your second opportunity for a W. PG Tony says, does your guest understand that if he describes Masons as disgusting people he won't talk to, that's actually a great recruitment advertisement? Did you know that? Because you're such a horrible person, 33 UC, that if you won't talk to somebody, that is a stunning recommendation for that person or for that group of people. You understand that? If you were to advertise Nike, they'd go out of business tomorrow. You understand that?
These planets are somewhere we can go and land on.
No, the planets, they're pretty far away. Well, yeah, I think Mars.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you make a case for why that is exactly? Why you think that we can go there?
You seem to forget that this is your chance, your opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, but you can't, and therefore you admit that the Earth is a globe. So, who better imitates a blobfish, 33 UC or Rad Black? I mean that's got a good blobfish look to it. Have you seen the avatar I made for you? It's nice. I'll send it to you. You can have it and use it everywhere. Let's see. Holden McGroin says 33 putting on your channel, sputtering out sentence fragments and then crapping himself is not a debate. It is not. Kenny Eaton says brain bucket definitely on empty. AT2 Production says fakers aren't good candidates for being top left. Genuine stupidity only. So that's the question, 33. Are you genuinely stupid or are you faking stupid?
Son.
Nothing.
What was
Nothing at all.
the stupid thing weak against?
Well, I tried.
I think it's ice, but I'm not sure.
Will be a tie between Whitsitt, Oakley, Santos, and Riley. Second place goes to Thompson. Then third is always the mass of people that agree with any of the above names. I can't believe. Oh, Santos is so vile. I can't believe anybody. Oh. And they think that he's some sort of a spiritual leader. It's disgusting. Clive Wells says to call 33 a halfwit would be to give him too much credit. So 33, you missed the answer to the question earlier. Are you actually this stupid, or are you faking this stupid? Nothing. He's got it. Nothing at all. All right. Ableist says 33. Is your Earth flat because someone stepped in it? Laidlaw Forgeworks says he's not even 0.5 best. Well, 33. It's not. This next poll here. Would you back 33 for top left? Ah. So we've got something coming for you, 33. You might like the results of this poll. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, I'll read the poll. The poll is: would you back 33 UC for top left? All right, I'm gonna end the poll here. Hold on. We'll get the final results. All the tallies are in. Votes have been cast and counted. The answer is yes. 61% would back you for top left. 38% would not back you for top left. So there you go.
Oh, I know. That's pretty good. That's pretty good numbers. That's all.
Yeah,
I know. That's pretty good numbers.
yeah. Of 177 people polled, 61% thought that you are top left quality.
And which means the other 30-something% didn't, which I'll take. Because that means whatever that top left shit is, I'm sure it's garbage. Just like you, just like this channel, and just like that can that Russian kids threw with that night.
Here's a... We're going to do this. This is an audience participation thing. We're going to try to get 33% yeses. How about that? All right, so people, hold on. People are going to, oh no, that's not it. That's not it. I'm going to start this, this poll. You're going to love it, 33. Get 30. So what you need to do is if the yes is swinging too far towards past 33, you need to vote no, right? If it's going the other way, you need to vote yes, right? So make sure that everybody see how close we can get. So if we can get yes 33%.
Where is your fat warm cousin? Where is he?
He is at home sleeping. It's pretty late right now.
That's kind of sad that you just admitted that.
Yeah,
that
I know who you're talking to.
He's at work.
Yeah,
You
so,
admitted he's fat, he's at work.
but now this is your chance. Let me remind you once again
know
that
I'm
this is your chance to present evidence for the shape of the Earth, and you have deflected yet again, thereby admitting that the Earth is a globe. So, people, if this is your first time watching a flat Earth debate, 33 UC is the epitome of flat earthers, or the epitome of flat earthers, if you will. He has no evidence for flat Earth. He thinks the Earth is flat. He has a religious belief that the Earth is flat, but he has no evidence that the Earth is flat. It is purely a cult religion, and that's what he has. That's typical flat earther. They can't produce any measurements of flatness. Nobody's ever gone out and measured flatness. They can't explain why the sun sets. They can't explain anything about flat Earth that isn't instantly defeated or falsified in an actual empirical test. They may make a claim about how high the sun is. You go measure it. Nope, it doesn't work. They might make a claim about how things fall down. You know, they say gravity doesn't exist. You go test it. It doesn't work. Every single thing that every flat earther has ever produced as a claim for flat Earth is instantly falsified. And that's why they don't present evidence. And that's why 33 is here, mocking the flat Earth in his ridiculous belief that the Earth is flat. Because he has none. So, Tim Pryor says, let's go first with Serena's one says 33 would brag about being runner-up in a fight to the death. Tim Pryor, oh, is it retracted again? Hold on, let me. Tim Pryor, I can, you know what? I can go get that. I can go grab that again. Dave Cernick says flirts are cheap entertainment. Yes. 33, you are cheap entertainment. So when you're walking the streets at night, are you cheap then too? What do you charge? What do you charge for 10 minutes? Anything? Nothing? No? Alright, Tim Pryor, let's see, says, worst flat earth evidence I've ever seen. At least other flat earthers try to deflect. Yeah, he's really not even something that. He retracted it. Yeah, yeah. So, alright, the point of the poll is to just try and get yes to come out to be 33%. That's it. That's the poll. And right now it's 49%, so we need some more no's. People jump in there and give it a no. Lael says Mallory easily takes all 5 spots of the top 5 guests just because of her comedic nature. So one person outs you from the top 5. Just, you know. Nothing. You'd brag about being a runner-up to a fight to the death. I love that. All right, yeah. Renmick says this is so boring. 33 never answers the cleverest of messages. 33. All right, MC Toon should start talking about the warehouses in Minneapolis. That's way more fun. Yeah. So, all right, 33. So here it is. It's been an hour. One more time, look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it? Or just let it slip? This is your chance to present evidence for Flat Earth. Will you let it slip? Go ahead. This is your chance. Will you let it slip?
Oh, hang on, me too.
Will you let it slip?
I'm hopefully I don't let it slip. Hang on.
Will you let it slip? Will you let it slip? Alright. And that's it. So, 33. Should put this way. 33 as completely fact. 33, you are a useless individual. Your only purpose in life is for people to mock and ridicule. That's it. That's your only purpose and your only reason for being on this globe. So, 82 Productions says 33 is definitely a top tier bottom. Just ask Russian vids. Mongo's Magic Channel says, can you ask 33 if the number of atomic wedgies he received as a kid was more or less than 33? I don't. He doesn't answer. He doesn't answer questions. Lael says 33 does not even rank in the top 50,000 guests on this channel. That's right. Eddie Reese is wondering what size clown shoes 33 wears. What size clown shoes do you wear, 33? Are they size 33? Timbo Turtle says 33 didn't fail, you have to try to fail. What a useless person he is. So, let's see here. Done. So, he let it slip. He had a chance. People, that is other flat earthers come in here and they actually put a little more effort into it, but really we saw behind the curtain. We saw behind the curtain of the flat earth. The amount of evidence that 33 brought forward today for flat earth is the same as every flat earther has ever brought forward for flat earth. The only thing they ever try to do is show how they don't understand the globe. And that's all they do. They don't have evidence for a flat earth. They don't actually understand the globe. He actually thought that the theory of relativity, he actually thought this was that somebody is upside down relative to somebody else. That's how dumb he was. Now, if you saw the video I did last Thursday, on my Conspiracy Tunes channel, Dare It from TikTok, did the same thing. That's how stupid these people are. They think the theory of relativity is whether or not somebody is upside down relative to somebody else. It has nothing to do with the theory of relativity. They're that stupid. Yeah, and so Woodwork Learner, if you bring 33 on your channel again, I will click dislike, as he is that much less fun. He is. So, anyway. HB Cone 33 is like non-alcoholic beer. What's the point? Exactly. Or decaf coffee. Basil Vinos is what the F is wrong with this chat? So many times we said to vote no, but people just couldn't get it right. Saying the IQ here is negative is 33. The poll, people, the goal of the poll is to have yes 3% of the time. You need to vote, but we need more no's. Yes, like decaf coffee, sorry. Non-alcoholic beer and decaf coffee. Oh. You can't see the number before you vote. Oh, that's okay. I forgot about that. Alright, well, it's up on screen now. Can you see it on the screen now? Right there? Right, so it's right there. If you're looking on the actual video, there's the number there. So we're at 46% yes. Mute Donkey says it works every time, 33% of the time. I think you mean 33% of the time it works every time. Alright, now give me some no's. Give me some no's. Oh, I probably have to refresh. There it is. 45%. 45% yes. We need more no's. Use all your... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't fire up your soccer accounts just to make this dumb thing. So, alright, well, 33. He begs to come on all the time. But there's no point. There's no point. All he can do is try to play when I talk to Russian vids, where Russian vids doesn't understand the globe. Duh. Flat Earthers don't understand the globe. None of them do. That's why they're Flat Earthers. So the stream is... It's tough, alright? We're at 44%. So... I don't know. The rebels voted yes. Alright, I'll give a couple more minutes. Can we get a couple more votes? Can it happen? But alright, let me tell you, next week I have Dave, I forgot his last name. Judy Owen. Alright, so next week is Dave, who's the photographer from England that's been crushing the flirfs. Sitting on the chair with his dog. So he's coming on at 4 p.m. Central Time, which is 10 p.m. UK time. So we're just going to chat. And next... Oh, no, I don't have anybody booked yet for the next week. So let's see. No, it's not Dave Murphy. BG Tony, no point. Did you not see the top of his head, how it tapered like that? That's good. That's good. McKeegan. That's it, McKeegan. All right. Dave's last name is Snooter. Too many Daves. There is. So, all right. Oh, I'll show you this. Yeah, imagine idolizing Russian vids. Imagine. So I have right here. I'll keep it reading. You can read the chat. You get Tom Green your subs with your... Here is the shipping. Shipping he has my PO box, so you can see it. For this thing that I bought. If you ever seen flat earthers who claim that the atmosphere will cause the sun to set incorrectly, it's a lie. This is it right here. The lie was invented by Rob Skiba, who is now died of a disease that he said didn't exist.
Yep, he be dead.
It didn't. Yeah. It stopped him from telling new lies, which is good. But his family is spreading his old lies. So this is it here. This is, I'm going to set it up on my kitchen table. But have you seen this? It's this thing. You move it back and the sun sets. Of course, the sun apparently is just, you know, a couple feet above a ship. So anyway, part of the reason why is because I wanted to get, I mean, I could have done it myself, but I wanted to get the same Fresnel lens that they have. See that? See, the problem is that they use the wrong side of the lens. Because light bends the opposite direction as what the lens is doing. So they are lying. Rob Skiba lied about stuff to support Flat Earth. And his widow continues to lie. Anyway, so I have that. I'm going to do a video on that. Show how to use it the right way to make light bend the way that it actually does in the atmosphere. So, I know I shouldn't give them
I was stuck.
It was not much. But I figured, well, nobody else has actually tested it the right way. So I'm going to test it the right way. And so hopefully if anybody ever searches for it, they'll find my video on it, where I'm actually showing how to do it the right way. And maybe it will dry up funds of them selling lies. So, all right, let's see. All right, well, the poll did not go so well. Did not go so well. So, yeah, they're using the wrong side of the lens, so that they're using the part of the lens that causes light to bend up. And, I can show you on here. So, interesting. It's just the thing. Fresnel lenses can be kind of expensive. This was actually kind of cheap. So here it is. So the light on the bottom, or the part on the bottom, is going to cause the light to bend upwards. Let me get it here. It's going to cause the light to bend up. But in the atmosphere, the light bends down, so you need to use the top part of the lens, right? And so what I'll do is I'm just going to drop the lens down and have the top of the table here, because I have a table with a leaf in it, and I'll just drop it right down, and then just have it sticking through, and then we'll test it. So, ooh, Andrew L says, I work for a company that makes a Fresnel solar simulator. Ooh, very cool. I want to get a giant Fresnel lens and use it in the moonlight. Oh yeah, okay. Tom Green is an irrelevant 90s MTV personality who was married to Drew Barrymore for like 6 months. Yeah, okay. So I didn't know you meant that Tom Green. Why of all people would is like bring Tom Green on? It's like bring Bobcat Goldthwait on. I mean, we might have a conversation about our likitude for Tab. But I don't know, it seemed a little random. So, Dr. Nimrod says, well, if you give Sam, who's on the previous show, money just for his internet, it's not a bad thing, as long as it's not the thousands that people like Mitchell from Australia are asking for. Yeah. It's not much. It's enough to cover his internet and make sure that they're like, he's, a little slop. So, oh, he was trolling Flurfs on Twitter. Yes, I did. Oh yeah, he he was doing some moon landing trolling too. So, okay, that's a good idea. Well, people, go find him on Twitter. Go tell him, because I can't do it. I'll do it myself too. But if a whole bunch of people say, hey, you should totally come on MC Toon, then yes, that might work. If he knows about it, he might not know about me. Believe it or not, he might not know about me. So, you were, oh yes, Mongo's Magic Channel, you were going to moderate our debate. Now it's all coming back around. Yep. Anyway. They were flocking to him like a messiah. Yeah, it's easy for a celebrity to like, you know, to mock the flurfs or the truthers, to just hint at something, and then they'll flock to him, and then they just are desperate for anybody. It's definitely an appeal to authority or an appeal to popularity for them, because, you know, Kyrie Irving, B.O.B. rapper, they're like, we want him so bad. Or anytime any flurf, you know, pretends to have an engineering degree or have a master's or PhD, they flock to him. So when JM Truth came on, he's like, I have a master's degree. They thought he was all that. And after a few times of him opening his face hole, they're like, oh, nope, we don't want any of that. Steve6464, when am I going to finish my Cold Moonlight experiment? I have finished it. I just need to make a video out of it. So step one is make a web page for it and then do a video on it. So I have a few things. A big backlog of videos. So that's to do. That's the problem. I try to get one every week at least. And so it's, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this one simple. And then I don't. I wind up spending more time on it than just doing a simple video. So the one from last week, if you watch that one was an attempt at being a kind of an easier one to do, a quicker one. So it didn't take me quite as long. So the one with the FFS from TikTok and Derek. So 82 Productions says, I'll give Jam Truth this. His degree actually exists. It may not be as portrayed, but anyone else can also get it. Yeah. Jiffy Cones, where's Mallory? I don't know. She was going to come on before Christmas, and then she's like, oh, I'm not feeling well. So we put it back. She was going to debate Bryant Myers, and then she's like, she's not feeling well. So she kept putting it off, and then she wouldn't answer for a while, and I went to her Discord server and I'm like, hey, where's Mallory? And they're like, well, she's not been around much. So I don't know. And she kind of did this last year. I don't know. Is it maybe in December, January she's just busy or something? Maybe she's hibernating. Like, she could be part bear. Maybe she's in her furry self, she's a bear, and so she's just trying to really embrace and channel her inner bear by hibernating. So I don't know. Flurf Discord server open. So Charlie Welch says she's okay. Matt Patak, I don't know what you mean by Flurf Discord server open. I'm not going to go on the 24/7 server right now. If that's what you mean, one of the others. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna some stuff to do. I got the camera. The other thing is, like, I got the Cold Moonlight thing to put together, but I have the camera, and I only have the P1000 for a short time. So I need to, whatever I'm gonna do with it, I need to do it quickly, and then go back to it. But between, so here's what I did. If you were on the last one, I got for the P1000 that I have a macro adapter lens. It's a big glass lens, but the working distance, the distance from the front of it to where it's in focus is super short, and it was so short that I couldn't actually focus on the edge of something I was trying do. So I got these. So I went to the camera store and I'm like, well, I told them. They're like, well, we don't have an extender, but we have this stack. They had like a 2-foot long stack of these adapters. They're all this UV filter. Here you can see my ring light up there. And he's like, well, we can just sell you some of these crap ones. So we did. And then I took the glass out of 3 of them. So just in between, I just went in the garage and broke them all. So there, took them all out, blew them out with my compressed air pump. So there it is. One of them I left on, the kind of better one. There it is. You saw it too. You're naughty again. Mandevil's naughty. See it? There it is. There it is. There it is, Mandevil. Look at it. If I go back here, let's see. Now you'll notice, yeah, here it is. You'll see the whole thing here. The reason why you don't see it here is because directly above here is another camera. Right there. Right there's a camera. That points down. So if you ever see me drawing a video on paper, that's what but I have my microphone there normally, so I have to move it somewhere. Anyway, Zumi, I've seen her too. I saw her face covered in yogurt too. I thought it was ranch dressing. Talking about Mallory. The ultimate reductionist. My vegan atheist trucker friend. How many adjectives? Loves Cult of Dusty's channel and videos. I love Dusty Smith, although I don't have time to watch his videos, but that's no excuse for censorship. And Garrus is here as Mallory's legal representation. Alright, is she well? Alright. The ultimate reductionist wants to see Turtle and Raccoon and the Penguin.
Again.
Well, give me a second. Send a message. That's a good idea. Here we go, ready? I'm going to, on the other side, right here, I'm going to be texting a family member. Can you bring cats and a dog? We'll see. We'll see if it shows up. Garrus says, my client has been a little under the weather, but I cannot confirm or deny if it has anything to do with the shape of the Earth. Well, thank you there, Garrus, for that update on Mallory. Ring is bright and shiny, so he can always get the colors wrong on his Lego pieces. Judy's wondering, when's the next Lego build? Well, I could do another one. I did a whole bunch in a row. I'm like, oh, that's probably too many. So I have, well, it's down there. Let me see if I can see it like this. Right here. No, you can't. Down there, I have the Discovery, the Shuttle Discovery. So I will, maybe I'll do it. I'll do it sometime. I'll plan it and schedule it up. So, all right. I'm gonna see if any dogs or cats are showing up. Garrett says, when will my client be receiving her sweater? I believe it's owed to her. I sent her the sweatshirt like a year ago. And if she didn't get it, somebody else is wearing it. Somebody else is. Alright, hold on a second. Hey, Rosie. Oh, guess what? There she is. There's Penguin.
Penguin.
Right. Can we? Penguin, how you doing? You want to swim? You want to swim a little? Hold on. Here we go. No. Alright, can you do your swimming? Sometimes she does that. She's getting tall, her legs are getting long. What do you think? Look at the camera. Look at that. She's so sweet. She is a sweet little puppy. She likes to just lay on you and go to sleep. Kiara says my client request time to cuddle and pet the good doggo. Yes. Mandela says I asked Russian Vids if he's a New York cabbie as a joke, and he said I used to be. Stereotypes get it right sometimes. Yeah, she could use a bath. Or are you talking about Mallory? 82 production. How are the kitties? The kitties are, I think, going to be in here a little bit. They're, of course, they're good. These Turtle and Penguin play constantly. And of course, Turtle, being the cat, lays there like, I'm not going to play with you. And then, of course, she's like, everything that Turtle does is playtime, right? So Turtle swats her, it's playtime. Turtle hisses, it's playtime. Turtle growls, it's playtime. Everything is playtime. I've got a couple videos. I'll have to get some for you to see. So Justin Messenger says, which part of the ice wall did you get Penguin? So, okay, 82. Yeah, both. Yep. Yeah, she does. We've never had a long-haired dog before. We've only had rat terriers. So you don't need to cut their hair, but this one I'm going to have to figure out how to cut. Oh, 82. Used to moonlight with my wife in her grooming business, and now I'm moonlighting helping her mom and sister get their businesses back on track. I got it. So okay. So yep. She does need a little bath. She doesn't mind bath. That's nice. But she looks scrawny when she's in the bathtub. She's so funny. Well, the others aren't coming. What do you think there? There it is. She's like just a teddy bear that moves. So Doggo's camera shot. I don't think Doggo knows that this thing right here is a camera. It takes a little bit of time. Right there. Right there. What do you think? There you go. Good puppy. Alright. There it is. Alright. Put her down. Well, just a second. Puppy wants out. That's enough. The rocket couch. I'm guessing by the looking scrawny in the bathtub comment, we're no longer talking about me. And Mathman Dr. Sam says, I see your guests' IQ are increasing. Indeed.
Just
82 says
I'm tired. I'm like really tired now. Get some sleepies.
Make it easier for all of you. Interesting. Well, I don't think we're gonna bring her in. I think
Bye bye.
Figure out how to do it ourselves. So, okay, nothing.